Oh no, I was right. Okay, my camera is not on. Hold on.
Oh yeah, because I can still see you.
It's okay. Cause we have Zoom. That kind of works.
Oh, I see.
I'm gonna work on this, but hello everyone and welcome back to Teach Astronomy. My name is Victoria, but you can call me Vicky, and I am here with Matthew.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us today or this evening and this morning, wherever you are in the world. We are in so many different time zones that it's basically impossible for me to keep track of it anymore.
Yeah, you're in like Mountain Standard. No, you're in like Central Time,
No, I'm in Central
and
Time in the US.
yeah, and then Michael's in Mountain Time. I'm here in Pacific. It's all very confusing. But hello, everyone. Student McLeod, Yangic, ASMK, Single Coded, Lynn Jersey. Welcome, welcome, Parzival. How you guys doing? Happy special stream day. Thank you guys for
That's right.
joining us right from the beginning. I um
Oh, we lost your audio.
I think you
There we
lost my
are. Now it's
audio
back.
because I have this headphone going to you. But
Oh, I see.
I see. Yeah. I going to try to figure out how to make my camera show up um in the right way. I know how to do this. But today, so yeah, special subscriber stream. So we have like 3 hours of stream for you today. Matthew obviously is here right now. We're gonna have Chris on later. We're gonna have Michael on later. We're gonna play some games. We're gonna get a tour of Professor Impey's office. Get to ask him about all the crazy stuff he has in there.
Oh my gosh, it's so exciting. It's so much fun. Every time I walk into his office, I see something new and we don't always have time for me to go, what is that?
Yeah.
And then because it always turns into some, oh, that's from when I was in the Ukraine doing an observation, or I was in somewhere, and we decided to take a side trip to wherever, and we were bumping along in a Jeep in the desert, and
Exactly. So yeah, so that should all be really fun. And today, to start it off, we figured we're just gonna be chit chatting a little bit. We thought we could talk about some planetarium stuff because if you guys didn't know, Matthew used to work at a planetarium for a while up in the Chicago area, right? Am I right?
yes, that's correct.
Yeah. So, since Matthew hasn't really gotten a chance to talk about that too much and talk about planetariums and stuff, we thought that would be a fun way to, you know, fun thing to talk about. So, yeah.
Absolutely. So I'll just get going. So for those of you who join us during our amateur astronomy stream, I have definitely mentioned that I used to work at the Adler Planetarium in Chicago,
Yeah. Let me pull up a
and
picture of that.
it is sort of famously known as the first, or it bills itself as the first planetarium in the Western Hemisphere. So the first planetaria were invented in well, depending on how you sort of classify planetarium, but the first public planetaria were opened in Europe, and I think in Germany specifically. And there were the Zeiss company made the first big projector planetarium projectors, and so Max Adler, who was an executive for a large department store, had made millions of dollars and donated money for a planetarium to be built in the city of Chicago. And so the Adler Planetarium opened in 1930, and it opened just a few months after the planet Pluto. Well, the after Pluto was discovered, and at the time it was thought to be the next planet, and it was classified as a planet for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And they sort of famously have um, all of the planets inside the planetarium, and Pluto was left out. Um, because it wasn't a planet at the time, and
Yeah.
so they sort of added it in later, and then now it's not a planet again, so they're right again.
I love it. Oh, Ralph Boxwell, thank you so much for subscribing. Thank
Oh,
you. They
excellent! Oh, we are
resubscribed.
excited.
That's their second month. Thank you so much. Thank you for supporting us. But yeah, so I have a picture of Adler. I didn't realize it's like right on the. Is it a lake? It's a lake, right?
Yeah, Lake Michigan.
That's amazing.
I mean, I believe it's an artificial peninsula that was created. They dumped debris into the lake and built this artificial peninsula. And so in that's a beautiful picture. I've always loved how Adler looks. And then in the let's see, when did I start working? I started working there in like 2000, and they had just opened that new part of the building. So if you see that kind of glass half circle
Mm-hmm.
around the back, that part had just opened within the year previously, and so they added that on. So it used to be this, um, I think 12-sided building, and they added on this gorgeous glass, um, whatever skirt around the back,
Yeah.
and it is just it's beautiful. It was such a fun place to work, and Adler, I think, has the best view of the city from anywhere in Chicago, because you can sit in the cafe and just look out over the city, and you can see the entire skyline.
Oh, that sounds
And
amazing.
it's absolutely gorgeous. And then you can actually, in this picture, it's great because you can see the Shed Aquarium kind of off to the left,
Mm-hmm.
in the top left part. And they added a big new addition onto it not too long, or around the same time that Adler was adding on to its facility. And it's really neat. And then the other cool thing is that um, Adler has one of the few urban public telescopes, and so you can see that there's like a little circular structure sort of towards the bottom, not quite the right, but that the bottom of that picture, there's a little circular structure out back, and that's the Doan Observatory. And it has I don't remember, a half-meter telescope in there. And I think they just did something with the mirror, or they're replacing the telescope. I mean, there's something going on with it right now. I think they might actually be replacing the telescope, because some of the motors, it's over 30 years old at this point.
Oh, wow.
And so I think they're trying to raise funds to install a new telescope in that. Yeah, but they've done tons of expansions, and they've got two planetarium theaters. The Sky Theater, which was the old theater, and it was a Zeiss projector for a long, long time. And I don't remember if it's still there. We're going to go into Chicago, up to Chicago next week. Going up with my family,
Oh,
and my
nice.
son would like to visit. So I'll have to go check it out and see if I still know anybody that works there, and maybe get a behind the scenes tour.
Yeah.
But then the Sky Theater was added, and that was the first all digital theaters in the world. And I think the Sky Theater is now all digital as well.
Okay. That's awesome.
Yeah, planetarium technology is amazing, and it's changing. It changes so quickly, and they want to stay relevant. But it can be difficult when people have access to software that they can replicate these phenomena with. I mean, there's planetarium software for your computer, but there is also just something really amazing about going into this fully immersive dome theater. It's like an Omnimax type of system.
Mm-hmm.
And you can project the sky and then move it forward and backward in time. And planetariums are just amazing.
Yeah. I remember when I was signing up for my one of my college gen eds, which was I did like 2 astronomy gen eds, and I specifically was looking for the one class because I heard there was one
section.
yeah, one section of the class where they would teach it in the planetarium on campus, and I was like, oh yeah, yeah, I want that. So then when I took the second astronomy course, I was like, only if it's in the planetarium, because it's just so cool.
Well, and
Um,
we found that that is a really strong motivator for students to take the course and to pick which section they, which I mean, it makes sense, but it's not something that we necessarily knew before. And and I think it's just being in that environment is so fun and cool.
yeah. Also, thank you so much for following GOKGB or GoKGB. I don't know what your name is. But
Yes, thank you, Dakara, for looking up the information on the first Zeiss projector.
yes. Yeah, if you guys saw it, the Dakar said the world's first planetarium projector was designed and built at Zeiss between the March 1919 and July 1923. So it had brief demonstrations in Munich and Jena, or Jena, I don't know. The first projection planetarium worldwide was installed at the uh, Deschutes Museum in 1925.
Deutsches.
Deutsches. That's how you say that?
Yep.
You'll learn
It's
something new
like
every day.
Like the German museum.
Gotcha.
Deutsches.
Um, but yeah, really cool, really cool.
Yep. And then you can see that, so the first one went in 1923, and then I believe that Max Adler was there shortly after and decided that that was going to be his gift to the city of Chicago, and then put money towards it. And then again, I don't remember when they started building, but I know it opened in 1930, and there were no other planetariums in the Western Hemisphere. So Chicago had the first, but then very shortly after that, you had two big other planetariums that opened. That was the planetarium in New York, and the Hayden Planetarium. Thank you. I had brain finally for releasing that information to me. The Hayden Planetarium opened in New York,
Mm-hmm.
and
then Griffith, right?
the Griffith Observatory
Yeah.
opened very soon after that. And then there were actually a few more. I think there was one in, I mean, there are a few other old planetaria in the US. There was, I want to say there's one in like Philadelphia,
That
at the
sounds.
Science Museum.
There's
That's
a lot
pretty
of things in
old.
Philadelphia that are pretty old.
Yeah. And so, I mean, but it was really interesting. This whole Victorian um, museum craze was just going on, and the museums were being built everywhere, and every big city wanted the newest and greatest museums for for their communities.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think well, Chicago area in general has like so much it had so much technological like innovation and stuff because of the World's Fair around that time. Well, I guess it was a little bit later, right? In like the 30s? Was it Chicago?
Say that again.
Or the Chicago World's Fair that like
Yeah, so I should probably have this information available, but
1933? Yeah.
and oh, so that makes sense because the Adler Planetarium opened the Chicago World's Fair, and the way that it did it was really cool. And I'm actually getting goosebumps thinking about it. So what they did is they found a star, and I'm trying to, was it Arcturus or Sirius? Anyway, they found a star that was approximately the right distance away, so that the light that the star gave off was given off during the last World's Fair and made it to Earth for the opening of the
That's
1933 World's Fair.
that's
And
so cool.
they used the telescope to focus the light onto a little solar cell, and that light from the star, whatever, was used to turn on the lights for the World's Fair. So the big opening ceremony actually started at Adler Planetarium.
That's so cool.
It is really cool.
Oh, that is awesome.
I thought that was really fun.
Yeah. Um, some people in the chat saying, oh, Lynn Jersey's son was supposed to have his astronomy college class in the planetarium, but COVID ruined that. But
Yeah,
their
that's so
local county
frustrating.
college has a planetarium, so that's
Also, that's
cool.
what I was going to say is and I don't know when this um, second wave took place or if it was a second wave, but a lot of community colleges have planetariums,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of universities. Maybe not a lot, but there are universities and community colleges, and even some high schools that
Mm-hmm.
have planetarium theaters. And I don't know when that all took place, um, but the University of Arizona has the Flandreau Planetarium, and then I used to work at Triton College after I graduated from college, and so there's a community college, Triton,
Mm-hmm.
in the Chicago area, and they have a planetarium. And there's actually one at the community college in Champaign, Illinois, not too far from here,
Mm-hmm.
called the Starkle Planetarium. And so there are planetariums all over the place. In fact, in the Chicago area alone, there are probably at least a dozen planetariums at various community colleges and
Mm-hmm.
things like that. Maybe not a dozen, maybe half a dozen. But there are several planetariums in the Chicago area.
Yeah. And here in LA, I know UCLA has one. Obviously, Griffith Observatory
Mm-hmm.
has their planetarium. Um, I have not been to the other like college campuses around here, but I'm sure like USC has one and stuff like that. But
And my guess would be that a lot of this funding came during the 50s and 60s during the big science education push
yeah,
that happened, especially in the United States. There was that whole sort of panic about falling behind the rest of the world in terms of science and engineering.
yeah,
And the United States pumped just a ton of money into science education, and a lot of things were done during that time. And I think a lot of money went into building planetariums and improving science departments at universities and things like that. So I think that was probably during the 60s. There was a lot of
yeah.
there's kind of a building boom.
Mm-hmm. Parsifal Festo said they have a planetarium near their place called Burla Planetarium. That's apparently famous in Hyderabad. That sounds cool. Yeah, you should go check it out when it's safe. I know COVID is in some areas is still making things very not safe, but eventually, go check that out. The U.S. education sounds good. It's solid most of the time.
Yeah, I would say I would say that the biggest. I mean, I want to say something mean here. So I will say that I would say the biggest problem with the U.S. education system is that it's so fractured,
Yeah.
and that there are places where it is outstanding,
Mm-hmm.
but there are also places that don't get the funding and have the resources that they really need. And so that's the biggest problem with the U.S. education system, I think, is that we fund it in kind of weird ways, and it's not federally funded. Um, but I think as a whole, we do have a pretty good education system.
Yeah. Lynn Jersey said the county college by them was built in 1968, so sounds like your theory is correct in like
Yeah.
the 60s, and that's cool. So tell me specifically about your time at Adler. Like what did you do? What was your did you like make the planetarium shows? Did you present the planetarium shows? Did you do like what did you do? We've never really talked about this.
Yeah. So when I started working there, I had just graduated, 6 months previously from the University of Illinois in Urbana, which is 45 minutes from here where I am in central Illinois. And I was a teaching assistant for physics classes for a semester, and then went up to Chicago and worked there. And I was what was called an informal, or I was a assistant educator for informal programs. So they had a formal and an informal education um, team. And so the formal education team focused on programs for schools and for teachers, and the informal education team focused on visitor experiences. And so I was part of the the visitor experience team. And so when I first got there, our primary job was to develop programs for school groups and to run tours, not exactly tours, but run, you know, uh, programs for visiting school groups or other visiting groups. We went on the museum floor and did demonstrations and presentations. Um, we developed programs we did birthday party programming. We ran evening events and um, observing events and special events and things like that. And so, but a lot of our time spent just on the museum floor during the week,
Yeah.
doing presentations and engaging with the public and then and things like that. So we also had a lot of tour groups coming in, and so it was our job to make sure that we had programming for school groups and they could make reservations ahead of time and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
And then as I was there longer, the duties kind of changed, and we were trying to do I not just trying, I think we did some innovative things with education, and we were trying to do some more innovative things using our resources. So um, for a long time, the Chicago Amateur Astronomy Club or Astronomy Society had a presence at the planetarium.
Mm-hmm.
And they closed that. They had I guess they had like a workshop there, but the planetarium, when it closed for renovations, that space was also closed. And so when I got there was very little telescope programming.
Mm-hmm.
They had a bunch of telescopes, but the program, like, there was just nobody there doing that telescope programming, and that was something I was interested in. So I took that up and started doing telescope events. I taught myself how to use telescopes, how to observe. We got rid of some of our older telescopes that were not as easy to set up.
Mm-hmm.
We just kind of rethought what we were doing with those telescope programs.
Yeah.
We also started a volunteer training program. So, whether you know it or not, a lot of planetarium museums in general, zoos, museums, um, aquariums, public centers like that rely on volunteers.
Mm-hmm.
And so we almost always had a volunteer on site, either every day during the week and certainly on the weekends. And our volunteer corps had kind of dwindled, and so we started a training program and brought in a ton of volunteers and did telescope observing training and education program training and all sorts of stuff like that. And that was, I really enjoyed that. We had a lot, and I still am friends with a lot of the volunteers that came through Adler.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was really neat.
Yeah. Because I remember you saying, I think it was last week or the week before, that like without the volunteers that were a part of the like amateur astronomy community that would like bring their telescopes to let other people see things, like you guys would have had way too many people to to use just the Adler telescopes.
Yeah, especially at events. And so there were plenty of volunteers who didn't have their own equipment. And that was actually, I think, one of the selling points of volunteering at the planetarium, was that you'd come in and you'd get to use these cool telescopes. And, with enough training, people could get in and use the observatory.
Mm-hmm.
And things like that. But there were, and it took us a while. We had to kind of rebuild relationships with the amateur astronomy community. But we got, we would have folks, without the volunteers, we couldn't have had all of the telescopes that we owned out. And then for huge events like the Mars oppositions, or I don't know if we had an eclipse while I was there, but anyway, just during those big public events, we
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't have even had enough equipment. And so we put all of our telescopes out, and then we relied on some of our volunteers to bring their own telescopes in.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Nice.
volunteers are absolutely critical for museums and science centers, and there's no way they can hire enough staff to always
Mm-hmm.
um, be able to engage with the public audiences that they have visiting.
Yeah. Speaking of telescopes, I don't know if you saw, but Student McLeod was saying that their son Travis is using the telescope they used when they were like, 10 to 30 years old
Oh,
to
cool.
show his own kids the planets and the moon. That's
Oh, that's so
lovely. I
cool.
love that. Um, that
That's neat.
that's so sweet.
Generational love of science and astronomy.
Yeah, that's amazing. So cool that you can pass that down. Um,
And then so then I'll just wrap up by saying towards the end of my time at Adler, we actually started developing some planetarium shows. We experimented with a lot of the shows that were being done were what we consider canned shows.
mm-hmm.
So basically, a planetarium operator would just start up a program, and it would run the whole show.
And there would be like an audio portion
Right,
to
an
it that
audio
was already
track,
playing. Yeah,
pre-recorded.
gotcha. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so a pre-recorded show, and they were good shows. We had some really, really amazing shows, and they were all like slide projector shows, and especially in the old theater, they were all slide projectors, and the central projector, and the central projector was not computerized, so the planetarium operator had to like make sure that they had synced things up. And there were towards the end of my time there, I learned how to be a planetarium operator,
Mm-hmm.
and we developed some shows, and I wrote a show that probably wasn't the greatest show, but I learned a lot from doing it.
Yeah.
And so we were trying to get education more involved in the 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 rest of the planetarium, because the planetarium shows were good shows, and they always, I think, always had an educator on hand developing it, but they were usually guided by the planetarium staff. And so we wanted to just have more education presence in those things. And so I got to participate in some of that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So I even got a special certificate once I passed all my stuff. It was a certificate that said like Master of the Universe, and
That's
said
cool.
that I had been certified on the planetarium, and it's super fun too, because there, on the old system, there were times of year like you had to rotate the ball to the next time of year. You would start in one place, and then it would end in another one. And so you'd turn on the light, you'd have to like crank it over and make sure you got from June the year before to April 2 years later.
Mm-hmm.
And then you had to make sure that the stars were in the right place, because there were times when we had things stars and they had to be in the right location, and you had to be pretty dead on with those dates. And so it was exciting, and it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that part.
Yeah.
And we had you can actually, if people are interested in this, you can actually usually get part-time jobs running planetarium shows. Most of our show operators were just part-timers.
Really?
Who were often, who were either, some of them were college students. We had retired people who came in and learned how to run the planetarium. So the operators at planetariums, sometimes their staff, like at small planetariums, it's oftentimes the full-time staff who will do it.
Mm-hmm.
But at larger planetariums, certainly they will often hire operators who their whole job is just to come in and operate the theater, and you get to touch and fill with equipment that nobody else gets to do and gets to use.
That's awesome. Also, if you guys have any questions for Matthew, please feel free to put them in the chat. But I was wondering, so I remember at the Flandreau Planetarium that they recently changed. Recently, I mean, I think it was like they made the switch when I was like before I was a freshman, or around when I was a freshman. So like 7 years ago now, I think. That they switched over from oh, JPM, thank you so much for following. Welcome to the TeachAstronomy family. But they switched over from the old projector system to a new digital projector to provide more room for like seats and stuff. Because I wanted to show you guys, if you haven't been to a planetarium before, this is what the projectors, at least the one in Flandreau, used to look like. I do not know who this man is, but he's there for scale. And that whole thing was in the center of the planetarium, and it would move and project, stars onto the dome with that like top section.
Yeah.
And did you guys have something similar to that at Adler?
Yep. And so that old projector was Hector Vector, the star projector. And I don't remember what brand of projector that was, but that was a relatively small one for a 60-foot dome or 30-foot dome, I think. And then Adler's was maybe twice that size.
Let's see if I can find a picture of Adler's.
And it was designed for like a dome twice that size, so like a 60-foot dome, I think. And so that's one of the old style projectors. And for a long time, that was how shows were done. And then with in the 90s, there started to be some digital projection systems.
I think this is I know it'll be delayed for you, but I'm pretty sure this is the Adler one. This is an old
That's the original.
Yeah, that's the original.
That's okay. The Zeiss Mark 1.
Okay.
And then the last one that was in there was like a Zeiss Mark 4.
Okay.
I want to say. And it was just an incredibly complex piece of machinery. And there was, so the balls on the ends projected the star fields. And then the things that look kind of like the neck, inside the necks, each of those were projectors that also moved around, and a lot of those were responsible for the moon and the sun and the planets.
Oh, okay.
And so because they moved at different rates, and so the fixed stars you could just kind of have set up, and those moved, and you never had to fix those.
Yeah.
But the planets and the moon and the sun, had to have their own, each projector, on a separate timing, and they were all linked by mechanical linkages, and everything was set so that when you fast forwarded, the planetary motions also fast forwarded with everything else, and you could fast forward, tens or hundreds of years into the future, kind of like you can with software now.
Yeah, it's pretty cool stuff. And now a lot of it is digital, which means
so the digital switchover was in planetarium circles it took a while, and it was kind of controversial.
Oh yeah.
For a while, and part of the reason that it was controversial is because for a long time digital stars just didn't look very good. And the original projectors were not very bright, and they were low resolution, and so you'd have a couple of projectors, maybe 6 projectors that are aimed at different parts of the dome, and then one up in the middle, and they all had to be aligned by hand.
Yeah.
And if and they would drift over time.
Yeah.
And you could really tell, and it was just sometimes, there were times when, there were times when it was almost embarrassing to run shows because a couple of the planetarium projectors were so out of alignment.
Oh God.
And so the edges would look really blurry and gross, and
yeah. Ugh. You think about just like general like projector tech, like if you've ever like, or think about like in schools and stuff, like the projector boards and stuff like that. The earlier ones in like the 2000s and stuff, like early 2000s, 90s and stuff, were not good.
Mm-hmm. No, and digital projectors really didn't come of age until, I mean, late in the 2000s.
Yeah.
Now, by the time I left, they were starting to install new systems. And one of the cool things about the Adler system, it was installed and owned by a company called Evans and Sutherland, and they got into the planetarium business from doing flight simulators for the government. And so they had experience with large scale projectors.
Mm-hmm.
And they installed like it's called Digistar, I believe. And so they installed the system there. But I almost want to say, I mean, I can't remember if it was owned or leased by Adler, but they had a contract so that when they got new technology, the domes got upgraded.
Yeah.
And so while I was there, the domes got upgraded at least. I want to almost say they got upgraded twice during must have just been once during the time that I was there.
Mm-hmm.
And I was there for 3 years, and the dome, the projectors were updated and the software was updated. And what was really awesome about the next generation was that they had auto alignment systems built in. And so the one nice thing about the digital systems is that they really increased as the technology improved.
Mm-hmm.
And so they really, there was rapid improvement in the first 10 years that those systems existed. And the DLP, those digital laser projection systems, those were installed. And the latest, I shouldn't say the latest, but the latest that I remember being installed is they now have like 8K systems.
Oh, wow.
Being installed. And so you've got, and they're probably even more than that now, because you've got 4K projectors.
Yeah.
And so you can put 4K projectors, and so you can have and then the other thing that as the projectors got brighter and higher resolution, you'd only have to have 2 projectors.
Mm-hmm.
And so an 8K system would have 2 4K projectors. And the stars went from these big blurry green blobs down to like almost points.
Yeah.
Now there's still mechanical systems. There's a company called it's gonna escape me right now. Anyway, but there's a Japanese company that still makes optical systems, and it's just I mean, you can still make optical projectors that are mechanical systems that are so incredible that mm-hmm. can still, the stars and the images can still blow digital systems out of the water.
Yeah.
But digital systems at this point, they're kind of the way to go.
Yeah.
But for a long time, people were like really invested in I want a optomechanical system because it has the best stars and the best images in the most precise locations and things like that. And I think that's still true, but in general, I don't know that it's worth it.
Yeah.
To give up all the flexibility you get from a digital projection system.
Yeah.
You can show anything you want. You can show Omnimax films mm-hmm. on projection systems and on the digital systems, and they're glorious. But I don't know if this is the case, but I think one potential future direction could be like OLED screens.
Oh yeah.
And, you could, because instead of the dome, you could have screens on the dome.
Yeah.
And those would be, the resolution on those would be individual pixels.
Yeah.
And so I don't know where the planetarium field is headed, but
that's interesting.
I think there's some really interesting stuff going on. I think projectors are more flexible because you can put those in the middle and they shine out, and they have, again, auto alignment systems, and you overlap them, and it has a camera that can look at the picture and make sure that it looks the way it should. And the stars on these 8K systems are really nice, and they're beautiful systems. But
that's awesome. Well, thank you for all of that. It looks like we have a couple questions on amateur astronomy stuff, not exactly related to planetarium thing, so I figure maybe we can shift for these last 15 minutes to answer some viewer questions.
Indeed. One thing I will do is I will put a link in the chat, and it's going to be a planetarium finder from the International Planetarium Society.
Oh yeah, that's a great idea.
And so if you it looks like, you can plug in, you can use their resources to find a planetarium near you that you can visit. And so definitely go check that out, and go see a planetarium now that we can, now if you're vaccinated, go check out a planetarium near you and
enjoy a show.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Student McLeod a little earlier asked from his location, the ISS is going to transit the moon on July 14th for 2 seconds. And they're hoping to video the event with an eyepiece mounted smartphone. So any advice on how to capture that as far as camera settings, technique?
So that's, I guess the only thing I would say for technique is just, make sure you trigger it early and just take video for as long as you can. If you're you said they're going to use a cell phone camera.
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay. And it's transiting what again?
The moon.
The moon. You want to see if you can find a filter, because the moon, depending on what size your telescope is, the moon can even be really bright and it can wash out it can blow out your pixels. So you may want some kind of a neutral density filter. And you can just put that in an eyepiece holder. Since it's it's the moon, you never want to use a filter over the eyepiece if you're looking at the sun, because you're filtering at sort of the hottest point, and the sun, if you focus the light from the sun on that filter, it can melt the filter. So with the sun, you always want to filter at the lens, at the end of the tube. But with the moon, you can get kind of a neutral density filter, and so that you might want to check that out. And I guess the one thing I would suggest is get your setup and practice a few times in the nights before the transit, and then you'll know how everything works and whether your triggering is working well. And especially if you're hand triggering by touching the smartphone, you may want to trigger a couple of seconds early.
Yeah.
To get the video right, because then it'll give a chance for the vibrations to die down. Since you have to touch it to trigger it, then but you also may want to look into some kind of a remote trigger system, and you can usually get those. You can get, even if you buy like a cheap like one of the selfie sticks, sometimes they will have a plug that goes into your smartphone that connects to a button. And so you can remotely trigger using, and you can get some of those selfie sticks for like 10 or 20 bucks.
Yeah.
So you may want to look into a remote triggering system. But you can, just find out how long it takes for your vibrations to dampen.
Well, yeah, good luck with that. It sounds like even if you don't get a good picture, I'm sure it'll be a cool thing to observe. It's always really cool to see the ISS buzz by the moon, so that'll be awesome. Astro Kiryani asked, can we discuss Venus and the Beehive cluster just in general? Venus is cool. We were talking about Venus the other day on our astronomy news stream, actually, because it's seeming unfortunately unlikely that there is any life in the clouds because of the severe lack of any water, which is sad because I love Venus, but also makes sense. But we were also talking about how, like, you never know, like, we thought Mars was dead, and now, we sent more rovers, and we think Mars actually is extremely interesting. Astro Kiriani wants to know how to capture them together this weekend. That's a great question. So Venus and the Beehive cluster, I guess, are pretty close to each other this weekend. Where's it at? Let me see.
Yeah, I see a picture of it, and yeah, Venus meets Beehive.
Ooh.
So that's that. So this is where my inexperience in astrophotography limits the kind of advice that I can give. However, I will say that in general, when you're capturing objects together, um, especially ones that are very different, like planets or the moon and stars or star clusters,
Hmm.
you have to be really careful um, of your exposure settings.
Hmm.
And sometimes if you set your exposure for one, you will not get the other.
Yeah.
So, for example, if you set your exposure for Venus, it may be so short, or um, the on my terms, the ISO might be so out of what it needs to be for
Hmm.
the cluster that your sensor won't be sensitive enough to get the dimmer things.
Yeah.
So what I would say, so again, this is where testing and practice is really important. So I would say that, and Venus moves pretty quickly. So you're only going to have, like one, maybe 2 nights
Hmm.
where you're going to be able to get these pretty close together. So I would say the one thing that is true is that the brightness of Venus probably won't be changing very much over the next couple of nights. It will be changing a little bit, but you're not going to get massive changes in brightness like you do from night to night with the moon.
Yeah.
Right. So like as the moon gets, it waxes and wanes, you really have to change your exposure settings, your um, length of exposure and ISO and all that stuff from night to night. But Venus, if you can dial it in for Venus, you'll know what your settings are 2 nights from now,
Yeah.
because it won't be changing so significantly.
Yeah.
But I would say go out and try and get pictures of the Beehive cluster, find out what your settings need to be, and then try to get pictures of Venus and see what your settings need to be.
Yeah. And if
And
there is a chance, there's always a chance that like there is no way to actually like realistically get the two in the same shot because of those issues with exposure. But if that happens, you could always just like take the same photo a couple times,
right.
and expose for one object first and then expose for the second object. Make sure not to move the camera placement or anything, and do it pretty quick so things don't move too much. And then you can composite them together in editing software. It's actually pretty simple. If you haven't used Photoshop, there's plenty of tutorials online to layer things, and you can still get the image you're looking for without trying to figure out how to expose for two possibly very differently lit objects. So
Yes, exactly. And and the other thing is take a lot of
yeah.
pictures. If you have a digital system, take a ton of pictures. That's one of the nice things about having a digital camera, is that you can just take a lot of pictures and you throw away the ones that didn't look good and keep the ones that look nice.
Exactly.
And so take a few that are exposed for Venus, and then take a few that are exposed for the Beehive, and Venus will probably be, overexposed. And then I bet you can get some that have both. And the way you do that is you go right in the middle.
Yeah.
And so the Beehive stars will be a little too dim, and Venus will be too bright. But what you don't want is depending on what kind of camera you have, you don't want blooming.
Yeah.
And so blooming is where the pixels fill up with electrons, and you get these giant bars that spread out from your image, from the bright spots on your image. And so as long as overexposing Venus is okay, as long as it doesn't cause the blooming, which will make the image essentially useless, because you fill up the rows or the columns of your camera. And so you have to keep your exposure low enough for that, to avoid that. But yeah, find all your settings and then take a bunch of pictures in between. And that's it. Then the nice thing is that, Venus moves slowly enough over the course of a night that you won't notice it. So you'll have an entire evening to you'll have all evening to get pictures.
Yeah.
So you can just try your settings all night.
Yeah. So good luck. I'd love to see those pictures later. Also, if you guys don't know, because we have more people on than normal, welcome. We have a Discord server that I can share an invite with y'all real quick, and let me see if it's the right one. And you guys can join there. We have a page, or like a chat dedicated to astrophotography and like amateur astronomy stuff, which is really cool. So you guys can check that out. They talk about a million different things there, but if you guys are interested, you can join there if you're not part of it already. And then there was other things. Oh,
yeah, so somebody mentioned, I just saw real quickly, do shadows occur for distant objects?
Oh, yeah.
So shadows from one object to another don't really occur. On planets, you get the shadows of the moons on the planets. But what happens when objects cross each other, it's not called a shadow, it's called an occultation. Oh. And so one object can pass in front of another and block it. But we don't call it shadowing really, and it's not really, I mean, it's technically it's a shadow, but we call them occultations. And so that can happen when close objects pass in front of more distant objects, and it happens often with planets occulting stars and things like that. So it depending on the specifics of your question, not the way you're thinking of shadows, really. Like, you don't necessarily see shadowing on an object unless it's a moon that's close by an object. So you can see the shadows of Jupiter's moons as the moons move in front of your view of Jupiter, and that is super cool. Watching the shadows of the moons is really neat.
Yeah, that's awesome. I saw Single Coded too posted a link to Hubble, the Hubble Inspires website. If you guys want to do some cool stuff, I didn't realize how many little like activities there are on there. But they mentioned that since Hubble is facing some tech issues right now, they thought it's a fun way to celebrate some of the stuff that it's done in the past. Thank you, Charlie. They said congrats on getting over 1,000 followers. Thank you.
Yes, we are excited.
Yeah.
Thank you for helping us make that happen.
Yes.
Everybody, we love having you here. This is really great.
And also, reminder, because it is the 1,000 follower stream, if you guys didn't hear before, we have some special things for y'all. I mean, obviously, we have this extra special 3-hour long stream. So after this, we have Chris coming on to talk about some stuff in his office. I have a panorama where you guys get to pick out things and say, what is that? Like a I Spy, interactive I Spy. And then later we're going to play GeoGuessr and try to figure out where we are in the world that is related to astronomy, which should be pretty fun. During all of this, if you are a subscriber, by the end of this stream, we are going to do a book giveaway. So one lucky subscriber is going to get a signed book by Professor Chris Impey. And we will ship it to you wherever you are in the world, as long as you get mail. Because if you are in the middle of Antarctica, I don't think we'll be able to ship it to you, but we will try. And all of our subscribers are going to get a special digital art piece that I made that is Teach Astronomy inspired. It's like a little movie poster-esque thing of us. So if you guys are interested, be sure to subscribe in the next couple of hours. But yeah, I think that's I don't know when Chris is going to just hop onto this Zoom call. So we will see how long it takes. But Yeah, as Student McLeod said, thank you for sharing your planetarium experience. That was really fun to learn about.
Good. Well, I'm happy to talk about them, and I love planetariums. And there's just like I said, I'm a little out of the loop since I haven't been working in them recently, but I have friends who are still in the field, um, and yeah, there's some really neat things. Spiceworks makes planetarium systems, and Evans and Sutherland still makes them. There's all there. I can't remember all of the. I'll have to look up all the different companies, and we'll talk about them again on our live stream, and you can check out all the different systems.
Yeah. Well, I will release you, Matthew. I know you have other stuff to do today,
Cool.
with the kids and the family, but
Absolutely. Well, if
oh,
it looks like
it looks like Chris
Chris
is
is
here.
popping in, so we will I will hand you over there.
All
So
right.
take care.
Bye. Hello, Chris.
Hey,
How you doing?
I'm pretty good. Pretty good.
I'm just centering you in my frame right now. Welcome to the stream.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
We were just talking about planetariums and stuff with Matthew and his time at Adler and stuff like that. So
Hmm.
yeah, I think everyone's excited to get a little tour of your office. But yeah, so how you doing today? While I
Pretty
pull up this
good.
photo.
It's good. It's Stewart's starting to open up. It's me seeing more people, grad students, a few faculty. It's just starting to unclench after a year of pretty serious lockdown.
Yeah, nice. That's good. It's exciting to have people in the office again. But yeah, all right. So I've got this photo that you took for us. I'm gonna switch over to that for a second. And so if you guys, oops, where'd it go? There we go. So you guys should be able to see. So this is a panorama shot of Professor Impey's office. It's full of things.
Should I be able to see it? I'm just seeing
No,
your.
you can't see
No,
it.
okay.
I'm just showing the stream.
That's fine. Yeah.
Okay, so we have our first question. One of our viewers, Parzival Fusto, asked, what's the mannequin kind of in the next to the file cabinet?
Oh, yeah. There's so much stuff. I can't even always identify things that people ask me about. A mannequin.
Or like a bust or some sort.
Yeah, like
It looks like?
it's a ceramic model bust draped with Buddhist prayer flags. I think that's the thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Every time I teach monks and nuns in India, Buddhists, they present you with prayer flags or rather these prayer shawls, and it's very nice. Nice silk, different colors. The colors represent different things too. I can't remember the colors. The white is purity or simplicity, and orange is or yellow is sort of more elite status, like you're a professor or a geshe, and the red is sort of ceremonial, means a special ceremony. So there's colored implications of these prayer shawls.
Yeah, that's really cool. How many times have you I know we've talked about this a little bit before, but how many times have you gone to teach the Buddhist monks before?
Yeah, I sort of lose track. I started in 2008, and obviously I haven't been able to go for 2 years now. I don't go every year. It's about every 2 years. So I've probably been 6 times, maybe 7. Can't remember.
Mm-hmm.
But it's fun every time. It's different every time. Location moves around. It's sometimes in northern India. The Buddhists obviously are centered in Dharamsala in the north, where the government in exile is of the Tibetans. And so I've done a few workshops in Dharamsala, and then the monks have monasteries and nuns as well, nunneries in the south far south of India where, you know, they've got a lot of land and they can have an expansive community. So I've been in the south of India a few times, and they've had workshops in Sikkim, which is right in this very northern province of India, right onto the Himalayas, and Bhutan, which of course is separate country, so that's not India.
Yeah.
And that was a pretty amazing place. So yeah, there is always a good adventure to go there.
Yeah, that's awesome. Someone else said, I'm going to switch back to the photo really quick. Someone else said, do I see Mulder and Scully?
Oh yeah, of course.
Oh, there they are. I see it now.
I'm an X-Files fan. That's an early, well, I can turn the camera around at some point, but yes, I've got a poster from the X-Files early. I think the first season. Mm-hmm. They look so young and fresh. I think, you know, this is slightly non-PC, but Scully had some work done afterwards. her cheekbones and nose were slightly different later in the series. Gillian Anderson had some plastic surgery, and maybe he did as well. I don't know. It's hard to tell. But they were young at the beginning. It was 1997, I think, when that show started.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like that show, of course, because you know, it epitomizes all the conspiracy theories on UFOs and aliens that were still embedded in decades later, or 60 years after Roswell. So
yeah.
And I guess what I like to tell students, I sometimes show X-Files clips in class. In fact, the clip I show quite often is from the pilot, the pilot before they even had the first series, and it's the scene where they meet for the first time. So Scully goes down into the basement in some godforsaken part of the FBI labyrinth, where Mulder has been consigned because he's sort of on the outs with the agency because he believes in all this UFO stuff, and she's assigned to work with him. And she's fresh out of Quantico and the academy, and she's super hotshot and did an undergraduate thesis on the twin paradox of Einstein. So it's their first meeting, and it's kind of it's amusing. It's very well done, of course, the very first meeting, where they archetype themselves as Mulder, you know, being a true believer. You know, he just is pretty sure there's stuff that we can't explain, and that the stuff they're finding is indication that the aliens are visiting. And Scully is the complete skeptic, the scientist, and, you know, just sort of is already trying to take down his crazy ideas. And so when in class I tell people, well, you know, most kids still have, even if they were born, even if they were young when the series was happening, it's still in syndication, so a lot of people have seen it. I just tell them, you know, in the series, you know, kind of Mulder was the more sympathetic character, but Scully as the skeptic is really usually right. You know, she's the scientist, and so my money's always with the skeptic.
Yeah, it's such a good show. I've only watched the first like 3 seasons, I think, but it's so good.
It had, you know, it was not uniform, of course.
Yeah, the
alien and the conspiracy theory stuff, that sort of was a current running through the whole show. They then, I can't think, they thought they chewed the flavor out of the plot line after a few seasons, so they started doing monsters like monster. Each episode, well, there was a swamp monster and
the swamp, or like the what was monster. It? There was like a monster in the sewage pipes or something.
Monster in the sewers, and, you know, shape-shifting monsters and giant bug monsters. You know, they explored the monster realm with a lot of episodes, and they didn't always work equally well. Yeah, so
going into my my cryptid territory with my podcast.
So but I just generally like that show. Almost, obviously, in the media world, is hugely influential as well. So many people copied it or tried to copy it or whatever. They made movies from it. I think I only watched the first movie. The movies weren't so good. It was like, no, come on, you know.
Yeah.
Leave it alone. It was good. Let it be. And I'm glad to see those 2 actors, the leads, you know, went on to do other great things. I mean, they're both, David Duchovny and Gillian Anderson, both had, you know, really good careers after that. It wasn't like their defining thing. Yeah. It wasn't like you know, poor Kramer and George from Seinfeld. You know, they really didn't get anything. That was their high point. We'll not cry for them because they're multi-million dollars
Yeah.
based just from syndication. But Elaine was the only, Julia Louis-Dreyfus was the only person who had a really strong career post Seinfeld.
Yeah.
So that can happen sometimes if you have a killer hit show on TV, especially like that, it defines you, and or maybe you just get so rich and lazy you don't care anymore.
For sure. And real quick shout out, Felipe Ita just followed us. Thank you so much. Welcome to the Teach Astronomy family. Somebody requested, and I don't know if this is actually in your office right now, because I feel like it might have been lost to time and space. But do you have the Einstein mask?
It's in the research office across the hall.
Oh, okay.
So this is my office, and I hope it's not lost because I use it. I mean, I use that in India every time I go there.
Okay, maybe I thought it was lost because at some point we tried to use it for a video, and I think you brought it to a conference, and we were like, we lost the mask.
No, I don't. Now, of course, when we're done with this, I'm going to go and
you gotta
see
go
if I know
check,
what it is. Because that was hard to get. I mean,
Yeah.
I've looked online and have not seen a mask of that quality.
Yeah.
It's a rubberized mask. It's pretty good, actually.
Yeah.
It's very hard to be inside. When I've worn it in India, it's often in the monsoon in the spring or summer, and it's brutally hot. It's brutally hot and humid. I mean, it's nasty to have to be inside that thing for more than an hour in character. Anyway, so yes, the Einstein mask does reside somewhere, but not right here. I have a bust of Einstein, though.
Oh, do you?
I mean, when we do a tour, I mean, I can start touring anytime.
Yeah, feel free.
So I guess I got to do the reverse thing. What do I do? Pick my image.
Also, while you do that, I'm going to share a link with everyone. If you guys don't know what we're talking about when we say the Einstein mask, which is, there's a chance, I just sent you guys a video from our Active Galactic channel of Einstein Out West, which is a short video series we did with the Einstein mask. Oh, there
so
it
this
is.
is not Einstein mask. This is a bust, of course, of Einstein, and he's garlanded with lace, plastic lace from my last trip to Hawaii, and I don't know what the equations are on here. Is these equals mc squared? Yeah, it's just relativity, special relativity, which makes sense. They didn't try and put general relativity on the bust. That would have been a heavy lift. And they're from the sort of prehistoric time. There's me and my kids.
Oh.
With slightly ghoulish things behind them. Cups, I guess you toast. You're supposed to toast when you're drinking blood, I think, with those kind of things.
Oh.
And there's all sorts of stuff going on here. I mean, of course, there's a chunk of glass from our castings of big mirrors. That was from a casting for an 8.4 meter mirror. So that's borosilicate, and we fill a mold with tons of chunks that size, and then heat it to 1100 degrees, and it melts into a huge mirror. Also, parts of my meteorite collection. That's a iron meteorite, a slice etched, of course, and the inclusions are glassy material. That's it's a composite meteorite, because often meteorites are pure iron nickel, and then they're rocky or glassy meteorites formed at high temperature. The interesting thing, there are a lot of fake meteorites out there. It's very easy to get ripped off, so you should if anyone's ever contemplated buying meteorite, be very careful online. Unscrupulous people. I mean, there are trade shows where you can understand that they're legit. I go to the Mineral and Gem Show in Tucson for mine.
Oh yeah. It's a big show.
So you got to go to a totally legitimate vendor. Anyway, if you look up close, these rectangular shapes are iron crystals.
Oh wow.
And when you see that, that's actually proof that it's a real meteorite, because it is essentially impossible in a lab on Earth to make iron crystals of that size and shape, especially that size, because that's very large. That's almost inch across. So the longest crystals.
It's
And
so cool.
basically these meteors have, some of them have elliptical orbits, and they heat and cool over time, over millions, hundreds of millions of years. And those iron crystals really only form by incredibly long heating and cooling cycles, literally millions of years. This is why you can't replicate this in the lab. So when you see these macroscopic or large iron crystals like that, that can only be extraterrestrial material.
That's
You just
so cool.
simply can't make that on the Earth.
Yeah.
Um,
Somebody asked, I don't think so, but do you know the origin of the meteor? Do
this
you know, like,
particular,
yeah.
this is well, it has its origin. This is whoops, that's the name of it. I should be able to read it. Sayen-chan. Okay, that's a Siberian meteorite. So that was
Okay.
that landed in Siberia, I think, in 1948. So when it's a nice sample, it's good to know the provenance of it and what meteorite it actually came from. This is a more anonymous and dull chunk. This is an iron nickel chunk of a meteorite.
Cool.
It's pretty much pure metal.
Wow.
And it's ablated. The surface is ablated, and it's, if you see close, it's sort of pitted as well. And it sort of gets a heat, the intense heating of the atmosphere as it comes through the atmosphere essentially blasts the surface, partially melts, blasts, and then pits the surface. So these are classic forms to show that it's been through some intense torture on the way through the atmosphere. And this sample that's etched is just essentially a slice of a meteorite like the one I was holding, which you can then etch with acid, and that's what draws out those beautiful shapes.
Okay.
So anyway, so a lot of stuff going on here.
Somebody asked, Student McLeod asked, which one item in your office collection would you most miss if it disappeared? I thought that would be good.
That's a good question.
I'm sure it's a hard choice.
Yeah, I mean, there are not a lot of things that have like sentimental value. I mean, there's things that will be hard to replace, I suppose, but no, I don't know. There's nothing that I could totally not live without. I'm just sort of scanning. There are things that were hard to get back, like this mask from India. That's Ganesha, the sort of the elephant goddess, and has this incredible headdress with metallic. It's not precious or anything. It's just made of chunks of aluminum and feathers and so on. But it's papier-mâché, and so I had to bring that back and carry on luggage and 3 or 4 flights from India, and that was really hard to get back without breaking.
Yeah.
So there are things. I mean, you could probably go and buy this somewhere. You can buy almost anything anywhere. That's the trouble. In the time I've been traveling, the world of commerce is such that you can pretty much buy anything anywhere. So, the fact that I painstakingly found this in a bazaar in India and then managed to avoid it getting damaged and brought it back, it's kind of meaningless because you could just go out and buy it. But that's not the point. The point is, I know where I got it, and that's what it means. And so, here's another example. This is a thing from China. It's
wow.
It's actually incredible. I mean, it's actually almost shameful because it's balsa wood, so it's incredibly intricately carved balsa wood. It's an entire landscape with trees, and if I get close, the level of detail, you can see that it's sort of balsa wood.
That's amazing.
And this whole thing in its wooden case, I think it cost like $3 in Beijing, but it was 30 years ago. It was a long time ago. But, and I almost felt embarrassed to buy it or to bring it back because I thought, well, that must have taken hundreds of hours of someone's work. So how could it cost so little? It was terrible, but I loved it, so I brought it back anyway. This has got more than sentimental value. This is one of my wife's paintings. My wife's an artist, Dinah Jasinski, and this is called Celestial Symphony. So she did a series of astronomical pieces this is the G clay. This is not the original. The original is someone bought the original, I think.
Mhm.
So this was just a star forming region, and she used artistic colors and the textures and so on.
That's
And
gorgeous.
she did a whole series of astronomical paintings. We actually collaborated on an article. We went to a conference. She had a show alongside the astronomy conference. We wrote an article, got it published in a peer-reviewed journal
Oh, that's
on the
cool.
collaboration. So, so that's a nice thing. Free condoms, that's always important. Filming, we do a lot of filming. So
We do,
I
yeah.
remind. We haven't used this properly, but we should. We should use the clapboard or whatever they call.
We
They
should,
call
yeah.
that in film. We should, this represents something, significant to me because it was like over a period of time, and I aged, got gray hair. These are the three popes I've met. At the bottom is John Paul II, when I was a young faculty member. In the middle is Benedict, and at the top is Francis, and that's just a few years ago.
Yeah,
So it's kind of cool to meet three different popes.
that's crazy.
And I'm not even religious, so. And then more Indian motif stuff. These are kind of 3D-ish, garish things.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this is on a calendar, but this is another one of my wife's pieces.
Oh, wow.
This is Milky Way over Monument Valley. And she, my wife got it into a calendar, national calendar, actually.
That's
It's kind of
gorgeous.
nice. That's another piece of artwork. So I have bits of art, of course, some done by students, like these portraits of Kepler and Galileo and Newton were done by a student for a project. Here's someone riffing on Andy Warhol and pop art.
That's cool.
This piece is really impressive. Was a student in an intro astronomy class. She did it for a final project. You can see it's quite big. It's about 4 feet tall and
Mm-hmm.
3 feet wide. It's beautiful. It's about life in the universe. It's got ET there and God and swirling galaxy and so on. It's beautiful oil paint.
It's amazing.
Oil painting project, and I know I graded as a project. And then at the end of the semester, I said, "Pieces made." She sold it to me, so that's a nice thing. There are a lot of fossils in here. They're sort of sub themes, and the chunk of glass. To connect the chunk of glass to the ending project, there's the chunk of borosilicate that from the Mirror Lab, or that we use. Borosilicate is not glass, it's glass-like, has a very low thermal coefficient of expansion, which is what you want for a telescope that has temperature variations.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very, very pure. That's the purity is what really counts with it. S is in a foundry in North, really the only place that we've ever found with the sufficient purity to make glass for these telescopes, these big telescopes. And I don't have obviously the big telescope is being built in Chile as we speak, but the little model of it is here.
Oh, yeah.
That's the that's interesting. What was that? So that's the Giant Binocular Telescope. I'm sorry, not the Giant Binocular, Giant Magellan Telescope.
Mm-hmm.
And each of those mirrors is 8.4 meters across. So you can imagine this is a very big thing when it's in a building. There's no way to get a scale. There's no person there to give you a sense of scale.
Yeah.
But it's a huge facility. So I have some astronomical things like that. There's a lot of fossils. I like fossils when I'm teaching deep time, age of the Earth and all that. Here's like a ammonite, which usually see clearly, but this one's huge. It probably weighs about 30 pounds, pure stone, of course. And these are amazing creatures because, most people are used to seeing smaller versions that look like that. And they come in size. The same species comes in size is from an inch across. Just this incredible scale of a single creature. And furry creatures lived in the oceans for, I think, 200 million years. So very, very successful form of life. Don't ask why, but these are Mexican wrestling masks.
Oh, our connection is not great, is it?
Right?
Hmm?
I think my phone freezes and buzzes.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Are you still there, Vicky?
I'm still here. Can you hear me still?
Yes.
Oh no.
Seems to be from
Seem to be having some connection
my
issues.
some. What's going on? Can you hear me now?
I can hear you, yeah. I think your image is frozen.
Sort of frozen. It's my phone that's.
Yeah. I think we've lost him.
My phone made our session. Just
I'm about
just the heads up. My phone will be sooner than an hour. Just so you know.
Okay. I'm going to I don't know if you can hear me, Chris, but I'm going to email you this as well. Did you want to switch over to your laptop?
Because it's just starting. I'm trying to find it. Enough.
We're gonna see if, because I think it'll probably work better if.
This is not work.
Oh, I think I can send it. I can send a chat in Zoom.
To go in on my desktop.
I think we're gonna have Chris switch over to his desktop, and we have the picture, so you guys can look at the picture and ask him questions about stuff. Because I think the university Wi-Fi is okay, but it's definitely limited in what it can do. Here, while we figure that out, I'll put and that's my email. I'll put the image back up of his office so you guys can take a look again. Let me make it a little. Well, if I make it bigger, I guess you'll lose some stuff. Oh, there you are, Chris.
Yeah, that phone was dying. It
Gotcha.
It wasn't out of battery even. It was just buzzing. The screen, it was unhappy with something.
Yeah. No worries.
iPhone 5. It's not perfect.
Yeah.
Give me a hard time for having a slate iPhone, but I'm simply unwilling to spend $1,000 on a phone. It's just ridiculous.
Totally understand. All right. Yeah. So we have the picture that you took, so we can use that and switch back and forth, ask people to ask questions. But while you were giving the tour before, I just want to say there were a few people who, a few of our international viewers were really excited. They recognized a lot of the Indian deities and stuff that you have, which is cool. Somebody said they saw calabaza and bombilla to drink mate next to the borosilicate that you have.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yes. So I have stuff from Africa and Indonesia and India and China and Russia. And I got stuff from a lot of countries actually. This office. I have a sub theme of fossils, of course, because I like fossils and I use them for teaching. I have a sub theme of meteorites because I don't have a brilliant meteorite collection, but I got some nice ones, nice samples. I have slightly more off the wall. I have a coprolite collection. Coprolites, in colloquial terms, are fossilized turds. I have I have the most the most special one is 65 million year old. Megalodon was the huge sharks, prehistoric sharks that were way bigger than our sharks, and I have a part of a megalodon turd fossilized. It
Wow.
comes out of mucus and then it falls to the seafloor and fossilizes. So it, it's that. But I have some mammal turds too from only 5-6 million years ago, so prehistoric mammals and so on. Yeah, just various. So they're basically fossils, just a particular kind of fossil.
Yeah.
And after millions of years, they don't smell bad at all. It's kind of
And then oh, someone noticed you have I'm pretty sure it's a celestial sphere.
yes,
Like globe
right.
sort of thing.
So that's for teaching. Of course, people like to know, how do we map the night sky? And what are the motions of the night sky? The celestial sphere, like that's a good one because you can pivot it. You can spin the Earth inside the celestial sphere, which is translucent, so you can see through it. So you can see how different parts of the Earth will see different constellations, and different constellations will be visible at different times of the day and year. So those celestial spheres are, very useful teaching tools. I mean, you can do all this, of course, online with little animations and simulations, which is fine, but it's nice to have a physical object to teach too. So I usually like having props or physical objects. So I have, I have all sorts of stuff here, of course.
Oh, someone asked, Student McLeod asked, if someone visited your home who had no idea of what you did for a career, do you think they'd be able to tell you love astronomy by like the things you have at home too? Because like obviously you could tell from your office, but
yeah, at home it's different because my wife, I have probably a slightly quirkier sensibility than my wife. So there's stuff in here that has to be here. It can't be at home. So so our house is a little more. We have some, nice, beautiful fossils like furniture pieces almost, and some meteorites. So yeah, some of the themes are similar. There's the astronomical art that my wife's done. We have 5 or 6 of those hanging on our walls. So, and there's stuff from India that I brought back, sort of more pankas, as they're called, the sort of woven scenes from the Ramayana and so on. So yeah, there's overlap. Not a lot of explicit astronomy stuff though, except a few meteorites and some astronomical paintings. So people might not get it totally from my house, and also it's not quite as over the top and dense and Byzantine as this office, which is really too much. It's sort of layered because I do get rid of things and throw things away, but not often. So things just keep getting added, and you can obviously see there's essentially no room anymore.
yeah.
So it's basically full.
Well, I remember when you were the associate dean of the College of Science, I met with you one time for some reason at your College of Science office. Because typically you're in that office, but I remember one time it was more convenient for you to be in that one. Yeah. And I walked in and that office was like almost totally empty, and I was so confused.
Yeah, I eventually built that office out. I was there for 4 years or so.
Yeah.
I did want to keep it distinct though. I wanted that to be more clearly executive type office. Not really for that reason, but I didn't want it to clutter. It was a small office anyway, interior office with no windows, so I didn't really want it cluttered as well, because that would feel claustrophobic.
Yeah.
The office here has a nice high window with a lot of light gets in, so it doesn't matter if it's cluttered.
Yeah.
So yeah. Now I don't have 2 offices. That's fine. I got a lot of exercise walking across campus. But,
Do you have any favorite things? Any like
Well,
or any like favorite finds that you I don't know, like things you never expected to find or something or
well, yeah, I mean, some sort of just artifacts or things I brought back are were surprising to me. But sometimes it's just found objects. It's just things that um, in the in the sort of realm of in the poop realm, I have it's not even fossilized. It's just desiccated. I have an elephant turd from Botswana. It was part of a very interesting road trip to Africa. So I have an African astronomer friend and colleague. I've known him for a very long time. I taught him in the Vatican summer school when he was a kid, when he was final year undergrad 30 years ago, and now he's a senior astronomer in South Africa. And he was the second Black South African to get a PhD in astronomy, so he's a pioneer.
Oh, wow.
Anyway, I'd been giving lectures, and we'd been working together in Cape Town and his university, which is in the northern part of South Africa. And he said, well, we should do a trip, we should go somewhere. And where do you want to go? And I just had a memory from childhood of the books that the only images in my head from Africa were from Rudyard Kipling or from, things I'd read when I was a lot younger. And one of those was the Just So stories, which kids still probably read and know about, how the leopard got its spots, how the elephant got its trunk.
Oh, yeah.
So great kind of quirky stories about how animals got to be the way they are. And in those Just So stories, there's a theme. He Kipling lived in Africa, of course, and he conjures up these amazing images of the place for anyone who's never been. And there's this phrase that recurs in a couple of the stories. I think it was the Great Gray Green Greasy Limpopo River, and that's a river that's on the boundary that divides Botswana and South Africa.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very big, famous, major river of Africa. And then all the animals are there and the stories and so on. And so having read this growing up and realizing we were at least in the right part of the world, I said, I want to go see the Great Gray Green Greasy Limpopo River. And Tebe, the African astronomer I knew, who's game for anything, he said, it is 1,000 kilometers and the roads are really bad and it's the rainy season, but why not? And all we had was this beat up old university car that I've got access to. No, 4-wheel drive or Jeep or anything. So he said, sure. He was just game for anything. It was probably really stupid and ill advised. So we drove for basically 2.5 days, pretty much solid. We just slept for a few hours in the car each night, and that's kept going. So it was a long way. And the roads were bad. And as we got closer, the roads got worse because as we got into the rainier areas near the river, in the river catchment area, there were places, it was mostly dirt roads anyway, and there were places where it just crossed a creek or was semi-washed out or whatever. And we nearly got stuck so many times, and we just kept going. And into probably what was now the third night, we wanted to get to the place, the river. There was a camp where you could stay before dark. And we didn't really make it. We were almost lost and meandering through this sort of swampy, jungly area with no directions, no road signs. I mean, he was doing it by dead reckoning, or I think he'd been there once, maybe. And just amazingly, just as it started to get pretty totally dark, we found this camp. And we parked the car and we're just amazed we got there. And we went through the cabins that we didn't even check in. We just walked forward to where the cabins were around the bend of the river, and walking between the cabins to the river bank, which was a steeply sloping bank. You were high above the river, muddy bank, of course. We just stopped, exhausted from being in the car, of course, for so long, and just listened. And in the darkness, it was just like the full Africa sound. It was the hooting of the monkeys and splashing of hippos going in and out of the river, and other sounds, roars and bellows and sounds that I couldn't identify or know what they were, and bird sounds still, even at night. And it was incredible. And there was a little bit of diffuse moonlight shining through thin cloud, and it illuminated this bend of the river going in both directions away from us. And it was just like, wow, it was just that crazy, magical experience.
That's so cool.
And well, we didn't have a lot of time because I had to fly back internationally like 3 days after that. So we only had a day and a bit, and then we had to hightail it back to where we started. But I knew I needed a souvenir. I mean, I took some photos, of course, but I wanted a souvenir. And so as we were walking along the riverbank in the morning, we had to leave at like lunchtime. There were all these fresh elephant turds, and we saw elephants and so on. It was cool. We saw a lot of animals, and I just found what I thought, one that wasn't totally fresh, like a few hours old, or like probably a day or a few days old. One that just had the perfect aesthetical shape. And I just picked it up and I carefully swaddled it in some cloth I had and put it in my bag. And I took it home. I suppose I should get it.
Oh my God. Yeah, I have to see this.
And so, it's let's see.
Oh,
My camera is not. Oh, my camera's misbehaving now too.
if you in your Zoom, it should be like there's like a green check, or no, where is it? Yeah, there's a green check in the top, and then there's like a little settings bar. You should be able to turn off the background.
Green check.
Like a top left.
Yeah, I see meeting information in a shield. That doesn't seem the right thing.
It is, yeah.
It is? Okay.
Yeah, so click on that, and then there's a little the settings wheel in the top right corner of that window.
Okay. Yep. And
then we're doing a little bit of
sure.
tech, folks. And then go to background and filters, and then click on none.
Oh, I see. Okay. Virtual backgrounds, video filters. Virtual backgrounds. It's interesting. I see virtual backgrounds, but none. There it is. Okay.
There we go.
Yeah. So there it is. You can read, and you can read.
Oh my God.
And you can read the legend. I made a little plaque. The elephant turd from the banks of the Limpopo River, Botswana, Africa. Of course, to bring it home, I had to, not declare it at customs. I'm sure it's totally legal.
Not declare it at customs.
It was full of bugs, and it was not that old. So I'm sure it was a completely inappropriate thing to bring back into the U.S. So I just decided not to declare it, and if they searched my bags, they searched my bags. So what? So a number of things. That's probably true of a number of things in this office. The things I brought back. I mean, I don't bring illegal antiquities or anything like that, but I bring back weird stuff, weird shit. This is literally weird shit. And, stuff you're not really supposed to bring in your bags or whatever, but I wasn't going to ship it. So,
yeah.
So, yeah, that's how. So I like things like that have a story, and they,
yeah, definitely.
And they hark back to childhood or some memory or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some people were saying that you make them think of an Indiana Jones that explores the world and the universe.
Yeah. So, and sometimes I just bring back almost a token thing. These are easier to show. So, where is it? I have I don't smoke, but I have a small cigarette collection. So here are Yak filter cigarettes. You can read it in Tibetan on the back. So I'm sure they're good. And I went to Russia, and I observed on the 6 meter in Russia and Crimea, and so they gave me some cigarettes there, I didn't smoke them. I just brought them back,
Yeah.
and that was Russia. And so I got cigarettes from various places,
That's cool.
and so on. So yeah, like I said, there are little sub themes: the cigarette theme, the fossil theme, the whatever theme.
Yeah.
Uh, remind me of places I've been, which is nice.
Someone was wondering if this like if your travel, because it seems like you travel a lot and have for your career and everything, is that like a typical thing amongst your like astronomy peers, or do you make a point to travel as much as you can?
I mean, I had the travel bug well before I was an astronomer. I didn't travel a ton growing up, but by the time I was a teenager living in London and growing up in London, going to college in London, I bombed around Europe a lot. So I got the bug that way. I didn't really go anywhere exotic or adventurous till I was like a grad student. But yeah, I had the full on bug by the time I was 23, 24, 25, and had some, minimal means to do it. Astronomers do travel because the astronomy world is small. There's about 5,000 professional astronomers in the U.S. I think the International Astronomical Union is about 12,000, 13,000. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot, but it's not a huge number. It's 10 times there are 10 times more professional physicists and 30 or 50 times more biologists. So we're a small community, and we're spread around the world. And because there are countries doing good astronomy all over the place, and Asia and South America and Europe, of course. So you do tend to meet astronomers from other countries. Meetings are held until the pandemic. Meetings are held all over the place. So it's quite easy to go to meetings around the world in astronomy. I've been to astronomy meetings in Japan and Indonesia and Chile and Peru and South Africa and Russia, a lot of different countries, and it's fun because I know some people probably just go there and go to the meeting and go home, but what a waste. So
Yeah.
so more typical is I think the second time I went. A couple of times I've been to Chile. I've been to Chile a lot. We have telescopes there, and I've been going there for 30 years. First few times in Chile, I just thought, wow, I'm in Chile. I'm gonna take a bus and go as far south as I can to the glaciers and the Patagonia and so on. And
Mm-hmm.
the next time, rented a tiny little car and went up to the Atacama Desert and up the coast. And you can just do amazing travel.
Yeah.
And
That's
so
awesome.
I think astronomy is good for travel and innately good because it's a worldwide community and the meetings that are all over the place. Now, out of the pandemic, people are still doing virtual meetings.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not clear how many of them will fully come back because a virtual meeting is easier for the organizers, of course. You don't have to worry about hotel rooms or feeding people or getting lost or mugged or unhappy with something in the local arrangements. These are virtuals, and once you know how to do a virtual meeting, it doesn't really matter who you are or where it is. I mean, I don't think most of my peers would be happy with just that. And so but that's a tricky issue. It's a big issue now, actually, in the community, in science in general, because scientists have a big carbon footprint when they go to these meetings, and that's a serious thing,
Mm-hmm.
and it's expensive. You have to have a grant or something like that,
Yeah.
and enough to be able to afford to travel if you're not getting reimbursed. So meetings around the world are expensive and not good for the planet generally. So those are reasons to just stay virtual and just
Mm-hmm.
keep the virtual thing that we had to do in the pandemic. The trouble is, the thing that's lost, apart from the travel, which I like, of course, is the networking
Mm-hmm.
is not nearly as good at a virtual meeting, and that's more for young scientists.
Yeah.
So I think young scientists are very torn about the situation now and downstream.
Yeah.
Um,
It's really hard to go and like, shake hands with somebody when there's 20 people on a Zoom call
right.
versus
You,
just in
you
a
can
room.
you can't get that background stuff, those little side conversations that lead to a new idea or collaboration,
Mm-hmm.
or if you're looking for a job, it really helps to schmooze or network or be in a physical place where you can talk to people informally and casually without high stakes. And and Zoom is so structured, and it's the opposite of spontaneous. So for career development, for networking, for that kind of layer of science that actually is very important, and people probably don't realize how important until it's lost, as it was for a year.
Mhm.
I think there's going to be real reluctance to go back to fully to keep with virtual meetings. But the other drivers of carbon footprint, cost, and so on are real, and the fact that the technology has improved in the last few years, so you can do better virtual meetings, and people are trying to up the game of virtual meetings to have booths and collaboration spaces and
Mhm.
networking areas. I've been to a few virtual meetings where they've really tried hard to replicate a meeting experience
Yeah.
online. So if you do it really well, but most don't or not all do, it's not terrible.
Yeah.
It's not just like a Zoom call. It's definitely way better than that. So I don't know where things will settle out.
Mhm.
The societies, the professional societies, they're born also because the hybrid thing where you have some people who go and some people who are virtual, that's probably going to happen a lot now
Yeah.
too. That for them is the worst of both worlds. So the professional societies, including ours, really don't like that. And they've explained why to their members. They say,
Mhm.
well, if we have a hybrid meeting, we still have to provide all the virtual infrastructure,
Yeah, it's double
and,
planning.
and we have double planning. And for the people who come physically, it's fewer people, so we don't get as good a rate on meals, on
Mhm.
hotel rooms, and so it'll get more expensive. So they see the hybrid meeting is really lousy all the way around for
Yeah.
them, and maybe for the people who go too, because you'll have two types of experience,
Yeah.
and maybe people who are virtual will feel like they had a diminished second class experience, and maybe they did, but
Mhm.
maybe that's what they wanted because they didn't want to spend the time and the money to travel, and they wanted to hop in and out of the sessions. There's no question that when there are virtual meetings, a lot of people don't attend a lot of the meeting.
Yeah.
Whereas if at a physical meeting, you're just kind of there, and unless you're just goofing off and sightseeing and blowing off a whole day or a whole session, you hear a lot of stuff, and that's good.
Yeah.
So, that's another reason why physical meetings are better, because you hear stuff that you might not otherwise have wanted to. If
Yeah.
you go to a session for a particular talk or a couple of talks, and then you hear the rest of the talks, and suddenly you hear something surprising, and you go, "Wow, that's cool! I didn't know they were doing that." Or,
Yeah.
and then the person sitting next to you is someone you didn't know, and you strike up a conversation, and the networking leads to something. So the serendipity of a real meeting is major, is really important. Over the years, it's made I can identify people I've met, collaborations that I've started, ideas I've had for projects that came not from the main thing or the main reason I thought I was there.
Yeah.
So my perspective is that to lose physical meetings would be a big loss for science, actually. I
Yeah.
don't know what for business and other people, they have their own trade-offs too.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting problem. I'm very curious to see how things like move in like as far as just like working in person and like yeah, meetings in person, like big like international collaborations in person, like what people are going to start doing over the next couple of years, cuz COVID has changed everything. Real quick, just wanted to say thank you so much for following De Rosso. Welcome to the TeachAstronomy family. And student McLeod, well, actually, Single Coded said visiting in the place in conferences also adds a lot because you get out of your daily routine and become more receptive to what you see and the people you meet and stuff. Gives you that like better memory fingerprint, so to say, which, yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Well, I think that probably another overarching reason to go to meetings physically is, and it's part of why I like travel. Travel does broaden the mind. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, 40% of Americans, I think that's the correct number, don't have passports. That's
Really?
not, that's not, yeah, it's a very large percentage. It's
Wow.
not good. I mean, if you don't travel, then you get a sort of myopic view of the world. and there's a lot of chauvinism and U.S. centric thinking on display at any time, but it's worse among people who have never been to another place and have some stereotypical notion about what Italians are like or what South Africans are like or Australians or whoever it is,
Yeah.
And it's always different. When you go there, it is always different than what you thought it might be in anticipation of a place you've never been.
Yeah.
And it's usually better. It's different and better.
Mhm.
So travel just generally is a good thing. I'm convinced, and not just because I like it, but because I've seen how it's been good for my kids when they started traveling and so on. And if you can have travel as part of your professional life, better still, win-win. You can go to a nice meeting, take an extra day and see some stuff.
Exactly.
Which is what I typically would do.
And it looks like we are getting to the end of our hour. I would love to have you on for another 3 hours, but I know you got plenty of stuff to do in your workday. But really quick, a couple people said, I just wanted to tell you, one of our viewers, Parswell Fusto, was telling everyone we have to get to 2,000 followers soon, so we can get you on and start talk more about all these stories and stuff, because you have so many. But any last things in your office that you wanted to show off? Someone mentioned we need to get you something TeachAstronomy related to put in the office, and I have a poster now. I don't know if I told you about this, but all of our subscribers, by the end of the stream, if you are subscribed, you're going to get a digital version of a poster I made featuring the 4 of us from TeachAstronomy, and we'll have to print you out one to put in the office.
No, I guess I don't have any other particular thing. Just, it's fun to have artifacts in your office. If you get distracted or, you get bored, I can just, because there's some stuff that I've forgotten what it is or where I got it, and I have to remember, and that reminds me of some nice collaboration or some friend I made. It's good to have a cluttered office. It's better, as someone said, and this is some wag said, well, you think it's crazy in here, you should see what it's like in here.
I love it.
I used to have the antithesis. I used to have an office neighbor next door to me, no longer, but I used to have an office neighbor who's the opposite. His office was so pristine and Spartan and basically anal that it was just bizarre. And so some people visiting Stuart or some random people would sometimes come by and say, look at this office. Now look at this office.
We have 2 kinds of astronomers here.
So the guy who had the absolutely pristine Spartan office had nothing on his blackboard. It was always clean. Almost nothing on his desk, everything, no stickies anywhere, just super anal tidy.
Mm-hmm.
And on his door, I had stuff on my door and outside my door and so on. On the outside of his door, he had the no bozos sign.
Oh my God.
The clown with a score through it. So I thought, okay, we get the idea. No bozos, right? Fine.
Oh my God. Yeah. That's so funny. Also, really quick, Astro Kiddo, thank you so much for subscribing. Really appreciate you helping out the channel like that. You'll be getting one of those digital posters that I mentioned. And also, we'll be entered into. We're doing a drawing for one of your books again. Any suggestions on which one? Because we're gonna let them pick the book, and then we're gonna have you sign it before we ship it off. So
that's fine. But and thanks, of course, to all of you for subscribing, following, coming to live sessions, and thanks to Vicky for being a stalwart through all of this and orchestrating a lot of this work and making the buzz that goes along with this channel.
Yeah, thank you for keeping me on the team for 4 years now. It's been great working with you.
It's like Peter Pan, never grow up.
Yeah, there you go. All right, well, I will let you go so you can get on to the rest of your day. We're going to be playing a video game with Michael and the whole chat after this. So.
All right, well, goodbye, everyone. It's good to hang with you for an hour. And thanks, Vicky.
Yeah. See you later.
Bye, everyone.
All right, so That was so fun. I love talking with Chris, especially when we can just like chat about stuff. Because it's also obviously like fun to learn about like astronomy stuff from him, but just getting a chit chat is really cool. I have a funny feeling that Michael is already on and is watching this, because I think somebody did chat from TeachAstronomy and it wasn't me, and Chris wasn't logged in. So unless he is here, so you can join whenever you're ready, Michael. Unless you do you want to show your face for the game, Michael? You were not sent a link. I sent you the link. Hold on. Oh, we got some technical difficulties. Give me a second. Because we need you on to, I don't know, to help introduce the game and things. I sent it to your email. Did I send it to your sister's email? I'm sending it now. Yeah, we're gonna play some GeoGuessr.
Although,
For
when
this
you get a
game.
Cyrillic language, generally speaking, you need a Cyrillic keyboard, or it's very, very difficult
To Google things.
to know what anything says, to know what cities you're in.
Hello, sir.
There are a few things you can maybe find, but this is currently not all that helpful. Thankfully, we have 4 minutes on this one. After this, we're probably going to jack it down to like 2 minutes.
Yeah, after this we're screwed.
Also, the way that we should set it is that we should tell everyone to start, and then you start like 30 seconds after everyone.
Yeah.
So, and then when you just wait the full 2 minutes. So you take as long as it takes you to take, and you start after everyone else. And then whatever the scoreboard is when you have finished is what we'll say is the official scoreboard.
Okay.
So that no one can just play after you, guess everything correctly, and get a perfect score.
That works.
We trust you, but you know.
It's fun fun to have. It's not like anyone's winning.
Am I about
anything,
to
but...
quote Ronald Reagan on stream? Trust but verify. I think that was him that said that.
Oh my.
This is a sad day.
I have
frankly.
absolutely zero idea where this is. Am I allowed to look things up? Well,
Not
I can't.
anymore.
Yeah.
I would have said yes, but
I have
you know.
literally no idea.
We can also change the rules after a couple games. We can say like, okay, now we're gonna let you Google.
Yeah.
Well, okay, knowing that it relates to astronomy and it's a Cyrillic language,
Doesn't
I mean,
help.
there's only so many potential options. Aiden's probably sitting back laughing. He knows exactly where we are. He made the thing.
Hey, we're still live, right, guys? Just let me know, because I just got a notification from Streamlabs that said Twitch is currently experiencing issues with going live. And I'm pretty sure we're still live. Yeah. Okay. We're still good. Okay. I don't know why it was like, just to let you know, you might not be live. And I'm like, well, you've been live for 2.5 hours. So I don't know about that.
Pixel said yes in chat. That's very funny.
Pixel could have just yelled from the other room.
That's true. That would have been very funny.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm just going to guess because I have no idea where this is, but I have like my best guess at where this is.
Yeah, I've guessed. A lot of people guessed very close.
Yeah.
Based on what I'm seeing. So, you know. We need to keep exact location. Yeah, so you get more points the closer you get. So it's not there are versions of this where it is just you have to get the country. But
okay, I'm going to guess.
You really do want to try and get exact location.
I was pretty close.
Yeah. So like everyone guessed in the city of Moscow, which makes sense. My guess is that if we were allowed to use Google, we could get much closer because we could look up where buildings were in Moscow. I was just scrolling through. Oh no, indeed.
We can't move for this one.
Unhelpful.
Also, that lady's torso is gone.
Yeah.
So funny.
Okay, so this, if the other crater one was hard, was very hard, this one is
impossible.
Yeah, this means nothing. This, I don't have the slightest idea.
Oh yeah, Lynn Jersey, you can't skip rounds. So yeah, so if you want, you can play this one, or you can just wait until we start the next one, and there'll be a new link, so you'll get to join from the beginning.
Okay, so now I'm working on the angle of the sun, right? That's what I'm working with here.
Pixel goes, yeah, so there are a lot of difficult locations. Sorry. It's okay. It's fun. Also, since this is kind of a static image, there's only so much what is in the water? Nothing. There's only so much intrigue for you guys in the next 4 minutes on stream, so let's...
You're gonna go back and try and pull up the thing?
Yeah, I already did.
Oh, I didn't see it.
Let me just... Well, no, I didn't. Yeah.
Oh, you pulled it. Okay.
Hold on.
Got it.
I have it open on my computer. I haven't... Okay, we have a window capture of... Add a new source. Photoshop. Because it's not done. Because like I said, Chris's eyes, not done. You get to see Chris's unfinished eyes. There it is. So you guys will get a digital copy of this poster if you are a subscriber by the end of the stream. And Chris's eyes will have color, I promise. Did you see it?
That's funny. Yes, I did.
Yeah.
I did in fact see.
So
love it.
Yeah.
Nice. Oh, and those are from a couple of subscribers. So
Hell
people
yeah.
who do get it.
yeah, it's $5. You only have to subscribe for 1 month, and you'll also be entered into a giveaway for a signed book.
I feel like I feel like I have a country to guess, but a country is not all that helpful.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I've guessed. I was wrong, which sucks because I think I was maybe in the lead coming into this one.
I sure wasn't, so.
Just tragic.
I have no idea where this is.
Now I'm curious where this place is. I'm curious for the final explanation of where this is. Oh, or I can just see it here. Oh,
is it Lesotho? Me and my friends play GeoGuessr, and we have a joke where if you don't know where something is, it might be Lesotho, because
That's very funny.
We had one round where there were like 3 locations. It was a worldwide map, and there were like 3 rounds that were in Lesotho, which, if you guys don't know, is a very small country in South Africa, or like engulfed in South Africa. It's its own country, and so you always forget about it because it's inside. And there's two countries entirely inside South Africa.
When my friends and I play, our joke is Colombia or Poland.
Yeah.
If you're in the northern hemisphere, you're in Poland. If you're in the southern hemisphere, or well, Colombia's not really in the southern hemisphere, but if you're in a European-ish city, you're in Poland. If you're not, you're in Colombia.
Yep.
That's it.
I'm just
One
gonna
of those 2 places.
randomly guess, I think. All
Yeah,
right,
there's not a
5
lot.
seconds. I was actually not.
Yeah.
It was
Lesotho
close.
was a decent guess.
It was close.
Okay, if you want to view the
Nice.
summer, you can see
Yeah.
who won.
So at the end, we can see.
It was not me. I got 7 points on the last one. That was terrible.
So now we can see all the people who played.
Did you win?
Did I win?
I think you won. How many people played?
I got 1 point the first round. Okay, but all of us, I guess, got 1
All of
point
us,
the
yeah.
first round.
No one did well.
Wow.
Okay, my reveal. How many people played? I can't. I guess I
can't.
show high
Hold on.
scoring.
Let me. You guys.
At
can't
least
see that.
8.
There we go. Now you guys can see the scores. I'll bring us back up in a second.
Well, great job. And now hopefully you guys understand how to play because it's about to get harder.
Oh my god.
Although I do think we're going to allow Google after this.
Yeah.
I think that we have to, especially, and because we only have a 2-minute timer, you have to be good with Google.
Yeah,
you have to be good if you're going to use the internet.
They're all gonna crush us then because I can't use Google still.
You can't?
No, because I can't switch screens and
Do you
have
have
like
a
a
phone?
Chrome. I do have a phone. Oh, also, Pixel's telling us the locations.
Oh, yeah. Okay, first one was Goss's Bluff Meteor Crater in Australia. Yeah, the only meteor crater I knew the rough location of was Meteor Crater in Arizona, which it didn't look like at all. But that's all I had.
Yeah.
Second, Cerro Tololo Observatory, Chile. Yeah, a lot of people guessed Chile. That was good. Well done, team. That was good. You know, observatory high up in the mountains. Chile was a great guess. Most people did very well. Let's see where the third place was.
Third location was LASP, where the Kepler satellite was controlled from, and they build lots of spacecraft there.
Yeah, I'm actually very close to there right now. So
that's in the University of Colorado Boulder, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Which is a great astronomy school, by the way, if any of you are high school students in the United States trying to find a place to go to school.
It's a very specific situation.
Yeah. Terrible school. Oh. Terrible school. I know Raph Boxwell. He goes to another school in Colorado, and they're rivals.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Fourth location was the Roscosmos control building, where Russian launches are monitored.
Yeah, I think we all got it was in Russia. Like, a lot of people guessed Moscow.
Yeah.
The thing is just trying to find the exact building was difficult. Yeah, Cyrillic lettering on the wall. And yeah, it's astronomy related. So out of all the countries where they use, you know, Cyrillic alphabet, probably in Russia. Fifth location, meteor crater in South Africa.
I was close.
Yeah, well, I guess I need to go play again. I have to share all the things. This is my thing.
So
okay, play. Challenge. Okay, timer is down to 2 minutes. You're allowed to use Google. Vicky, feel free to use your phone.
Okay.
If you would like to use Google.
Okay.
Although, with 2 minutes, there's not a lot of time.
I feel like if I won, which is, let me tell you how shocking that is. We play GeoGuessr all the time. I am typically like last, so
that South Africa one really came in.
It did. It did. Huge. I was like, you know what? Let's South out.
Okay.
Let's do it.
So I'm going to share the link. Don't start yet. And then we are going to tell people to start, where everyone other than Vicky is going to start, and she will wait like 20 seconds, and then she will start. And she will take the full 2 minutes on everyone. And once Vicky is done playing, that's the end of the time.
Yeah. So you guys have full time, and you can So if everyone's to get started, I'd say go now.
Go start game.
So you should be able to hit that link, and it will. And I'll hit the link too. I'll just wait.
I'm pretty sure I know where we are. I could be mistaken, but I don't think I am.
I'll give it some time. Just dancing over here. Michael is focused.
Yeah, because I think I know exactly where we are. Now I just need to find it on the map.
Oh boy. Has it been like 30 seconds?
Yeah, it's been about a minute. You could start.
All right, here we go. Oh.
I'm guessing other people are very focused as well, trying to...
Oh, where's the bottom of that telescope? Oh boy. Oh boy. This is a beautiful picture. Oh, I see we're stuck.
Okay, so now the only question is, where exactly are we?
I have a feeling I know where this is, but I say that a lot, and I'm usually wrong.
That's very funny. Well, I'm going to wait till the end of my time at least.
This...
From language, easy guess.
Okay. From language? What language? Where are you seeing language?
It's a great question.
Maybe they're on the next one.
Oh, yeah, perhaps.
I see.
So feel free to play it quickly, but then don't give hints towards some of the later ones if that is what you are doing. Fascinating. This is a very cool location, by the way.
Also,
just
if
looking around.
What is up with the... Oh, it's just the picture. I was like, the road is broken. Okay, I saw something that makes me think it's... Oh, I can Google things. That's right.
You in fact can.
Oh, that's not right. Oh god, I'm running out of time. Jesus. Okay. Oh no. Shit. Ah! Wait, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Woo.
Did you get it?
Yeah. I mean, close enough. I panicked and I was looking. Well, everyone should be finished by now, right? So I can say it?
I think so.
I was panicking and looking for Hawaii because I was like, wait, the ocean. Oh, it's so big. All right. Oh! I think I know I know exactly where this is. I think
I know where this is.
I think I know exactly where this is. I do, yeah. I've been here. Maybe that's a hint.
That is a hint, but you know, people have maybe already finished playing it, given the time. I still haven't actually selected a location on this one, though.
Now to remember where it is. I'm not going to Google this one.
Okay, roughly, this is close. Yeah, 5,000 points. Good job, other people who got 5,000 points on the second one. Next round. Well, Vicky's still playing that one.
Yeah.
Gotta speed on through.
I gotta check.
Hopefully those of you, there's still a lot of people here that aren't actively playing, so hopefully you guys are also enjoying this.
Yeah.
Watching some GeoGuessr. Also, definitely let us know what you think about this, because this is something we can do again. And not necessarily even just like a space one, but this is vaguely science-y related.
Yeah.
You know? This is fun.
My partner is, he's watching this. He's a huge nerd. He understands this. But, is also, you know, astronomy and physics. But I'm sure he would love to make us more maps, of other science-related things. Okay, I know exactly where we are, and if I don't get 5,000, I will be disappointed with myself, so I'm going to guess now.
I Googled the thing and was trying to figure out if it was actually where we were, and it's on NASA Way, so I think it is.
I'm just excited because I've been to this place. So also, Mad Key, thank you so much for following. Welcome to Teach Astronomy family.
Thank you. Yeah, by the way, if anyone wants that thing that Vicky shared earlier,
that poster,
the poster, digital poster,
or if you want to,
you're running out of time to follow.
Yeah, because by the end of stream, it was 12:40 already. Jesus, I think we'll probably go for a little bit longer than the scheduled time because it took us a while to get started. But oh, I see NASA. Oh, okay.
It's over sort of near here. Let me return to start, I guess.
Interesting.
That's a cool. That really tells you a lot right there, if I'm being honest.
What? The university drive
all of
sign?
the stuff. Yeah, all the stuff around. Next round. Well, you still figure out that one. Oh, this is really cool one, actually. That's awesome.
I'm excited to see it. Wait, are we in... What did it say on the thing? Oh, God. Oh, Jesus. Oh, Christ. I would like to go back to the start, please. Thank you. Okay. I don't want to use... I'm not using Google. I haven't Googled anything yet. I desperately tried to. I desperately tried to Google Alaskan observatories for the first one because I was very off base, and then I was like, "Wait, no, hold on." Oh no, I am running low on time, huh? Jesus. Oh no! I didn't guess!
Yikes.
Oh,
that
no.
feels bad.
That's sad.
That feels truly tragic.
It just put me in the ocean. It was like, you failed.
Yeah, it puts you at the. Oh my God,
I'm sorry, Doug for short. I see you said click it. Oh man. All right. I'm gonna do the next one. Oh. Oh. Well, that's helpful. Oh. Hello. This is cool. You know what would be a fun thing that I would like to do if I was... Oh, fancy camera. A fun thing that I'd like to do if I was rich.
Yeah.
Would be play GeoGuessr. And, like, play a 5-round GeoGuessr and go to all the places that it gave me. Like, that's how, like, GeoGuessr determines my... That would be a YouTube thing. GeoGuessr determines my next trip or whatever.
It does sound like a YouTube thing.
Yeah. Which, technically we are YouTubers.
It's true.
The channel is kind of dead, but we are. Oh, I do not know where this is. I have figured out the state, but not past that. Does this have any more information? No.
I don't know how to guess here, quite frankly, at the last place.
I haven't gotten to the last place yet. I'm still doing the one before that. We're gonna go with this? No, that doesn't feel right, does it? Oh no.
The last one's a wild.
I'm not gonna run out of time this time, so I'm just gonna go near a city. Wait, where am I? Oh. Okay. Hey! Wasn't too bad.
Yeah,
Nice.
no, pretty good.
Nice.
But now you get to see the interesting last place.
Oh.
Yeah, right? Fascinating. Also, at the time
Pixel,
that I
are we
finished,
looking at something we're not supposed to see? This feels like secretive. How did you find this?
I actually do wonder how you made the map. I wonder if it was just sort of Googling places related to astronomy or just places you already knew of. Or looking at like top observatories. I bet it was a mix of things. Like looking at a list of famous observatories and looking at a list of like meteor craters.
I mean,
I was panicking like, where was West Virginia? That's very funny.
West Virginia.
Fun fact, I might get to go to West Virginia in a couple months to go to the Green Bank Observatory.
Really? I've been to West
Yeah.
Virginia before. I went for a podcast show, actually, a live podcast show. Extravaganza. And it was great.
West Virginia
You
is
can
definitely
go-
not the best the U.S. has to offer,
You
but
can go visit the Mothman.
it's true.
For those of you who don't know, the Mothman, aka my persona here on GeoGuessr, is a cryptid that apparently lives in West Virginia and was seen in like the 60s or something by some teenagers who were most likely high, and then was seen supposedly near a bridge collapse that actually did happen. I have no idea where I am, so we're gonna go with...
Is that sand or snow? The answer is snow, if that helps anyone who's still on it. But everyone should be done.
Okay, well, I was
Yeah.
as far as I could possibly be away from it, I think.
That is very, very funny. So I nearly had a perfect game, except on the Antarctic last one. I couldn't guess closer, and I was 60 miles away because of how Antarctica is portrayed on the map.
That's funny.
But if you want to show high scores, you can see how everyone
let's
did. I
check it
think
out.
I maybe won, unless someone was perfect after
Oh,
me.
yeah, look at that.
Oh, a lot of people are playing. Hell yeah.
I'm going to hide you and me again. So it looks like Michael came in first. Boo. Single coded. Coming in second. Very nice. Then we got Joe, Astro Kiddo, Mothman bringing up number 5, Astro Kiryani, De Rosso, Kisharet Wari. Nice. This is great. You guys are crushing it.
But yeah, that was pretty good. So I guess, I keep forgetting I'm the one that has to keep starting this, not Vicky.
Yeah.
That's fine. Should I change any of the settings? Like no moving or...
Please don't do no moving.
Okay.
I hate that.
Well, then we're just gonna keep on rolling.
Oh, and Pixel's telling us the places right now. So the first location was Mauna Kea Observatory with the famous telescopes like Keck 1 and 2, Subaru, Ukurt, Gemini North, and more. The second was the SpaceX facility in Los Angeles, which is 20 minutes away from where I live. Don't use that to try to find out where I live. The third was the Katherine Johnson NASA Center, where they do software validation, named after one of the hidden figures of the, NASA program, Katherine Johnson.
Good movie, by the way.
Somebody said no timer. Parzival said no timer. We have to do a timer just so this works with the way that we're timing things. Zooming out helps. Yeah, zooming is definitely important. We're leaving Zoom on. Yeah.
Can you go back to the map so I can remember the fourth one? Oh. It was the Alabama one. It was the Huntsville.
Oh yeah, the
Redstone rocket test.
Yeah.
One. If you are wondering, I can't believe you weren't taking copious notes. Come on.
Pixel, you can play if you... Pixel should play, but try to get 0.
Try and get 0? Just try and guess on the exact other side of the side of the Earth?
Yeah. Because trying to get 0 is
India
very
or
hard.
anything in Asia? That's a great question, actually.
I believe there are definitely ones in... I think he said that he included stuff in Asia and India.
Yeah, part of the problem is that because it's... Yeah, part of the issue is that because it's based on Google Maps, it's always going to be skewed towards the United States and things like that,
Europe
because that's
stuff,
where
because
that's where Google Maps has access to all of the actual locations. Last one was Antarctica. It was the Amundsen Scott South Pole Station, maybe.
That's cool.
I'll wait for him to post the thing, but that's what I got. But while he posts that, I'm gonna post the link so that everyone can get ready
for the next one. Yeah.
Yeah. So everyone click on that. Try not to hit click play yet, although you can just go through it as fast as you want. But if you want to sort of follow along with what we're doing, you can wait a second. For other people, there's only Antarctica has land. There actually are some Arctic research stations, even for astronomy. Let me go try and look up some of them. I know because I was looking at some of them. Okay. That's where I thought we maybe were.
So Pixel said the fifth one is the South Pole Station. They have radio telescope there, as well as Ice Cube Neutrino Observatory somewhere around there. It's involved in the Event Horizon Telescope.
Yeah, help make a huge telescope. Okay, well, we've posted a link, so everyone other than Vicky, go ahead and play. Get ready.
Go.
See if you can win. Ooh, this is cool. Not really giving us a whole lot to work with. Oh, unless this is.
Sorry, I'm just closing windows. I realized you guys could all see that. But yeah, Pixel, if you want to challenge yourself, go for a 0-point round if you feel like it. Sometimes me and my friends play that way because it's actually really hard because you usually get at least a few points. Like even a lot of us in the very first location we did, where almost none of us knew where it was, I think almost all of us had at least like 1 point, because it's really hard to get exactly like on the other side of the world, which is fun.
Huh,
I never finished my story about Mothman though.
Oh,
There's
Tell
a place
your
in
Mothman
West
story.
Virginia. We're gonna learn together. It's a place called Point Pleasant, West Virginia, and they have forever, what's the word? I don't know. Cemented the Mothman as a part of their society with this massive, and I do mean massive, statue of this lovely creature. And that's me. I'm the Mothman.
Vicky is the Mothman.
And now I'm gonna start the game.
Yeah, good plan.
Okay. Ooh. What is that on the ground down there?
I did so bad on the first one.
Oh. Interesting. Another photosphere. Lots of these photospheres. It's a big boy. I feel like I know what type of telescope that is, and like what. I just don't know where it is. We have a repeat on 3. Oh, that's okay.
Oh, that's tragic. But hopefully you guys can all get it.
This one's tough. Okay. The photospheres are always hard because you are so limited with what you can see, you know?
Yeah.
And you usually don't get any hints with like language and stuff, so it makes it tricky.
Indeed.
Oh God, I only have 20 seconds. This is when I start
Repeat on 3. That's fine.
screaming!
Oh. 3P on 3 is also an easy one on 3. Well, I guess everyone, can get perfect.
I don't know. Damn it.
Tragic.
Maybe I'm doing a 0-point run.
Yeah, I guessed also in South America.
Okay.
It was tragic.
All right. Oh. Help conserve biodiversity. Where are we at? Oh. Intriguing. Where is this? Oh, here it is. Here. Oh. Why is this on the map? I have so many questions.
It's gotta be... Did you find the actual location?
I did. I think.
It's probably a meteor crater type thing.
Oh. Yes. Wait, what? Oh. Okay. Wait. I thought that was me. Oh, okay. Okay. It showed me it showed me someone else's guess and I was like, "Is that the location?" I was confused.
I'm very confused on the one after the repeat.
Oh, I see. I think I'm going to skip it. I'm just going to guess this one and move on pretty quick if that's okay with everybody. This repeat.
I don't know the slightest idea where this is. I'm gonna get so wrong. I feel so bad. Oh my god. So wrong indeed. But so is everyone else, so this is fine. Wish the game had a move limit, like you can only move max 5 times. That would be very interesting. Unfortunately, I think the only options are no move or move allowed. But that would be great, because the issue with doing like no move is that sometimes you really do need to move once to get like where you are. And it feels so bad when you can't do that.
Oh.
Yeah, move around on that map like once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, right?
Whoa. Crazy. Wow. I'm excited. The question is, do I know where this is? I don't. Gorgeous pictures, though.
Yeah, I had no clue. And based on at least the preliminary results when I was doing that, no one else really knows either.
No one knows what?
Where that is.
Oh.
So, yeah. Is this right here? This may be right here.
I know where it's like probably not.
This one's really cool, not compared to Antarctica though, with Event Horizon. But yeah, really it would be great if there were just a lot more settings overall, with things that you could change for this and different stuff. It would also be cool if they literally made a version to play on like Twitch, right? If there was a way to make it to facilitate this easier. Aiden managed to get 3 points when he played through it, so shame on you. Yeah, so what's the most points anyone got? 103?
On that
so
one?
Someone got on that one? Yeah.
That was a tough one.
That was.
Oh. Hey. Hey. Question is, do I know where this is?
Do you know where that is?
No.
I had to Google the exact location.
I'm not Googling.
I knew like the city, like the rough area, but to get the exact location, I had to Google it. So.
I don't know where this is. Can I get a sign, please? Oh God, that doesn't help. That helps. Okay, we can do this.
That does help.
We can do this, folks.
Wish there was a way to see who finished the fastest, so I could say congrats to such and such person for finishing the fastest. We are not going to have a repeat winner. Someone already did better than me, so.
Cool.
Should we do like a speed round? Like you have 1 minute?
Oh God. 30 seconds.
30 seconds, no move. You just have to guess.
God.
Your first impression. Where do you think you are right at the beginning?
We'll end this with complete and utter
also
chaos.
time. Oh, it does list a time. Yeah, actually. 9 multiple people took exactly 6 minutes and 27 seconds, but
Wow.
currently the person in first is winning with 6 minutes and 7 seconds. I'm not counting Aiden and his 52-second 3-point run. So well done, Joe, with 6 minutes and 7 seconds.
I have no idea where this is. Wow. Okay. Damn it.
I mean, you still did pretty well.
It was all right.
Yeah. Astro Kiddo beat me by 1 point. Oh, yeah, go look at the final results. Oh, someone else did even better.
Oh, wow.
Single coded. Well done, even despite the 0 on round 4.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah, well done.
A lot of you guys got that coveted 0.
Yeah.
On the round 4.
That one was hard.
It was really hard.
But yeah, well done, everyone. I mean, other than that one, everyone did pretty well. Do we want to do a speed round? Do we want to see what happens if we just your first instinct?
Yeah.
You just got to go.
Speed round is fun too, because then like you can't use Google. You have no chance.
Yeah, you can't, because we're gonna put a time limit at 30 seconds, no move. So you can zoom, but you have 30 seconds. So you can't Google, you can't do anything. All you got to do is
and you
just
also
first instinct.
You also probably can't really like look at my screen to cheat either. So I'll go at the same time as you guys. But first let's
location was Large Millimeter Telescope, Alfonso Serrano, another radio telescope that's part of the Event Horizon Telescope. Second location, Meteor Crater in Ghana, which is now a large lake, which makes sense. When you've got a big crater and it rains, you get a lake. Third was a repeat. Waiting to see if we hear anything about the fourth or fifth locations.
I imagine he's typing furiously.
While he's typing that, do you guys have any thoughts on GeoGuessr? Do you enjoy this? Both people who are playing it and people that are just watching. Is this fun? Is this good? Would you be fine playing versions that aren't astronomy based, or would you like to play more astronomy sort of based ones?
Yeah.
Any thoughts?
We're always interested in doing new and different things on stream. So
especially things that people can play in.
Yeah.
Fourth is the Meerkat Array, a radio array. You should look up the image of the Milky Way where they produce those antennas. It's incredible. Yeah, if you want to go look that up real quick. The Meerkat Array image of Milky Way.
Yeah, let's do that.
I would play more GeoGuessr any kind. Awesome. And finally, NASA Goddard. Yeah, NASA Goddard. I applied to work there one summer. I don't think I got it. It's a really fun game. Makes you look for visual hints. Yep. Astronomy and spacecraft based for sure.
That's very small. Why do I keep getting very small pictures?
Maybe?
The orange one. It is the orange one. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's so bad quality, but I guess this is the Meerkat Array image of the Milky Way. That's pretty cool.
So I'm not entirely sure all of the places that have been added, the 100 places in here, but there are definitely more than 100 sort of astronomy and spacecraft-based places on Earth. So it's definitely possible to make it longer and try and avoid repeats and things like that. But for now, let's go again. So again, this is 30 seconds, no move. So you can zoom, and that is it.
Okay.
So it really is just sort of first instincts. What can you see? One was repeated. Well, rough. Hopefully more weren't repeated. But yeah, so feel free to begin whenever you get it, and do your thing.
Get ready.
Wait, was one repeated?
In this one? I don't know. Okay, ready? We're gonna go fast. 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, I know where this is. I know the area at least. Oh God, I don't know what the. Oh shoot! Damn it!
Okay.
Ah!
Oh my God, where is this? Not being able to move on this one is maybe.
I don't want to leave it up for too long, so I'm gonna go through pretty fast, guys. Oh, I think I know where this one is too.
Crap. you know, I feel like we're up here. Oh, huge. This is a very different game than what we've been playing so far, quite frankly.
Yeah.
No, oh my god.
What is this?
Oh my god.
What is this? It is dark. You cannot move.
Yeah. This is not gonna be a good one, if I'm being honest.
Jesus Christ. Alright, we gonna...
Quite hard. Yeah, quite hard indeed. This is, again, a very different game.
Oh, damn it! I didn't guess. No! Okay. Damn. Wait, I guessed? Oh, I guess it took my placement. Okay, cool. Not bad,
We're
not
gonna
bad.
guess over near here, I guess.
This looks like it's from the 80s, this photo. I don't know what happened to it, but location 4 looks like a photo taken in the 80s, right?
Yeah.
I have no idea where we are. No clue. But I'm gonna guess here. Damn it! Okay. Last round, last round.
That was very, very difficult.
I don't know where any of this is. Oh no!
So that was just sort of to switch things up and just sort of see what happens when we play around that fast, especially since it's already like 2:10. But yeah, that's definitely a very different game. Very hard.
No. That one was rough. Jesus, how did you do so well?
I crushed it. I don't know. Okay, let's go back through what were the 5.
First location was Bell Labs in New
the
Jersey.
first one, yeah, Bell Labs. I knew that was in New
that.
Jersey, which was all I was able to get.
That was
which
my
one was
special.
the second?
That was my special request.
That's very
I said
funny.
we need to have Bell Labs.
The second one, if you zoomed in, it said Royal Observatory.
Yeah.
And it didn't look like when I hear Royal Observatory, I think where they did like the GMT stuff in London, but I didn't think that's where it was. So I guessed up in Scotland, which is exactly where it was, although I guessed sort of wrong in Scotland. The third one looked vaguely Eastern European, but it had to do with astronomy, so I didn't think it was Poland, which is where I always guess when it looks vaguely Eastern European. So I guessed in Berlin, and it was in Germany, although a different part of Germany. The fourth one looked like Texas. You said photo from the 80s, that looked like I just guessed in the middle of Texas.
Yeah.
And it was in fact, or I guessed in Houston because that's where space stuff is in Texas. And the last one said Space Telescope Science Institute, which is in Baltimore.
Yeah. Joe and Lynn 88 Skate crushed it. Very nice.
Yeah,
very
well done.
nice. Also, Pixel, oh my god, he got the coveted 0 point total.
Wow, well done. I felt like that was actually a pretty good one for a 30-second one, all things considered. Let's go. Yeah, well done getting second.
Dinner time for single coded.
Yeah, I think it's maybe time to head off.
I think so, but first, before we
Oh
do,
yeah, we have to do a drawing.
We do. So this is your last chance, folks. If you guys want to subscribe, it's only $5. Unless you have Amazon Prime, then it's free.
Then it's free. You can use your Prime subscription.
Yeah, you can link those. But we'll give you like 5 more minutes if anyone wants to subscribe. It's only $5. You don't have to renew it. It won't automatically renew, and you will get this fun poster that I showed you guys before. I can't print it and send it to you, unfortunately, because I don't have that kind of money. But you can print it and you can put it on your wall, or you can make it into a sticker, whatever you want to do. You will also be entered into the drawing that we're about to do. You can get a signed book from Professor Impey. You get to decide which book you want. So think about it. There's a solid likelihood you will get it. These odds are not bad. We have 15 subscribers right now, so
yeah. And
oh,
also,
you can see
one
the
of them,
inside
I think,
of
is
the
me,
stream. Whoops. You said one of them is you?
Yeah, one of them is me with my Prime subscriptions.
Great ad for Amazon. Yeah, unfortunately, we have to deal with the devil in order to stream for you guys.
You can make up with the Amazon ad by going and signing the petition to tell Jeff Bezos not to come back to Earth when he goes into space.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah. So let's so the other locations was the Max Planck Institute in Germany. It's a prominent astronomy center. The fourth was Columbia Scientific Ballooning Facility. So lots of astronomy instruments are put on balloons to get above the atmosphere. And then the fifth was the Space Telescope Science Institute, where Hubble and JWST will be controlled. That's awesome.
Enjoyed participating today. Yeah, that's really why we want to do this. We want people to have a chance to actually like play with us. Yeah, we have talked a bit about Bezos's rocket shape. We've talked a bit about the different
it's
rockets.
It's so funny. It looks so short and dumb. But
yeah, and during next week's news stream, we'll talk actually a little bit more about it. There was some news yesterday about who another passenger on that flight was going to be, and we'll actually talk a little bit about her because she has a very interesting life.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That sounds fun.
So
I'm gonna change our images again, so we are big on the screen.
Take up more of the screen.
Yeah. If I can.
But
click on the right thing. Oh, Streamlabs is a mess. There's our background. There it is.
Woo. But yeah, I think we've given people some time to subscribe.
Yeah, I suppose.
We did get a couple of subscribers during the stream today.
We did,
so
and
people who do want
guys.
to maybe win a book.
Yeah, and we totally understand. I know not everyone can subscribe, of course, but we appreciate you guys following as well. Thank you for getting us to the point where we did this stream. It's so exciting.
And we're already at 1,075, so that getting to 2,000, we're already making our way up there.
Yeah. So let's do a drawing. So let me how do we do this?
You go to the subscriber list and then do a random draw website with the names on it.
Yes. Okay. Do you want to do that?
Yeah, I have this. I just downloaded the subscriber list.
Okay, great.
That do.
Your craving book.
Okay, random drawing generator. Here we go. Can I just paste the list?
Can you just random number generate and assign everyone a number?
Oh yeah, I can. So
take yourself and TeachAstronomy out because both of those are listed.
Yeah. Okay.
You're staying for the suspense. Here we go.
Random number generator. Okay. So do people want to know their numbers before I do this? Or do you just want me to tell you the number and then tell you the one? I think you should just tell them
because it's going to take too long to read stuff out.
Generate. The number was 7.
Oh boy, who's number 7?
I hope that they're here, otherwise that'd be very depressing.
No.
Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The winner of a signed book is Ox Bowman.
Yay!
Who is maybe not here.
Congratulations, Ox Bowman. They regularly come to streams and stuff. I don't know if they were able to make it today, but they're usually on Mondays and Wednesdays. So congratulations to them.
So Ox Bowman has won the signed book, so we'll get to pick their book and do all of that. Tragic. Sorry, Rap Boxall, you didn't win.
So
but Ox Bowman does come in here a lot.
But you guys will all get the little poster. So yes. Hopefully you'll enjoy that. That will be coming. So there is a way for us to like email everyone essentially that's a subscriber through Twitch. So whatever email you have associated with your Twitch account, that's where the poster is going to be sent to. So I will probably send that out later today. I just have to, like I said, finish Chris's eyes and send that out. Don't post it anywhere like on the internet because it's like it's a thing that I made and it's supposed to be special. So keep it special, but like feel free to print it out or like stick it on your notebook or whatever you want to do with it. Yeah, that'll be a fun thing for you guys to have. Maybe we'll turn it into like one day maybe we'll have real merch by the time we get to 2,000. You know, a little stickers, something.
Yeah.
But yeah,
thanks for coming.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for being here. This was so much fun. This was our longest stream yet, and it was really great. So I guess we will wrap it up there. Congrats again to Ox Bowman, even though they're not here. And thank you all so much for following. Thank you for subscribing. If you're new and you haven't followed yet, please do, so you get notified about what we're doing. Because our whole goal here is to make learning about astronomy really fun and entertaining. And we need an audience for that, or else we're just talking to ourselves. So thank you guys all for being here. Student McLeod said Happy Independence Day. Yes, to anyone from the U.S., from the evil Great Britain. But yeah, happy 4th of July for anyone who celebrates. Happy Friday, and have a great weekend to everyone who doesn't. And we will see you next time, I guess.
Farewell.
Bye,
Have a nice weekend.
everyone.